We are Brightside Home Theater.
Home theater nerds, welcome to the Brightside Home Theater Podcast. The Home Theater Podcast, it's all about the experiences, the sights,
the sounds,
the scenes.
There we go. Look at that. We got names this week. We're flying by the seat of our pants. I got to change the background there. Just getting used to it. I got lots going on here, boys. How's your week been?
Okay.
Do you want to answer that, John?
We'll get to that.
It's fine.
A podcast almost came to a screeching halt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
But
I should have had taps recorded.
Oh, yeah.
Or the last post.
Yeah.
My week's been good. I have been sort of living in the 1970s and the 1980s all week, and talking in a drawl. But yes, all good. Yeah, so hence the names. Yeah, Adrian. Oh dear, it has been that kind of week, but it's been good. And when I haven't been doing that, I've been visiting Batuu on the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge PSVR 2 game. Oh, it's still cool.
Nice,
cool. That's awesome. I wish I had the time. I do. I wish I had time for video games.
Yeah.
John, remember we talked video games a couple of years ago? And my son was in college at the time, so we got on live, and he was teaching me how to do stuff, and it was just the two of us.
Yeah,
John and I were crying, laughing at the stories because I was like a newbie again, and I jumped out of a plane and I just hit the ground.
Fortnite?
No, it was
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
it was a Call of Duty or something like that, and it's like I was just running. My son seeing me on the other side, and it's like I'm the guy just running around, jumping up in the air. It's like, what are you doing?
Guaranteed to make you feel old, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it was great. It was so much fun. We had a blast. It was kind of fun. Your son goes off to college, and hey, there's always more opportunities to make a fool of yourself.
Yes.
That's what YouTube's for.
Exactly. So, we got a pretty big show this week. Pretty big. We got a lot of stuff. We got some giveaways that when we get to those, we'll get to those in a few minutes. Really, really big giveaway this week. First time ever listener giveaway that I can't wait to tell you guys about. But let's get to our stuff, ways to support the podcast. As always, the stream's going strong right now. Everybody, I'm not in the chat right now. I've got too much going on the side here, but you guys let me know if something pops up. Mm-hmm. But thanks to everybody joining on the stream. This is way more fun than the three of us ever thought it would be. We talk about it all week long. Like, I can't wait to get back there. Great fun. But emailing all the comments, we're going to get to listener comments in a few minutes, and donations haven't gone up yet. But I understand. We all understand. But thank you to everybody that is supporting us. Patron of the week for this week is Mr. AA for 2 months. So we're getting down there tight. So we're going to have to go back through the scroll again, but still at $163 a month. This month's donation, we also haven't gotten any boxes of popcorn yet this month either. Well, it's early in the month. We just started. But the month of November, we're going to be doing Brian, Haymakers for Hope, Brian Curtis, raising money for childhood cancer. And let's bring that up to the stream right here. There he is. See? So he's trying to raise $10,000. He's up to 35. That's pretty good.
I'm sorry, for November?
Did I say November?
You
March.
did.
You
did.
did.
March.
I was like, why are we talking about November already?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thank you.
March.
That's
Yes,
why there's
no
three
problem.
of us.
Thought Deej was getting ahead of the game.
Yeah, just a bit. I was like, what are we doing the other 7 months?
Did I say November? I don't know why I said November. What? It's not even on my board here. Like what I'm looking at. But yeah, so it's basically it's boxing, I guess. And my wife, this is a friend of my wife. So she knows, I guess, Mrs. Curtis, and she told me about it last week. This is the one she sent me the link, and I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we'll be giving $100 to Brian Curtis, and hopefully he gets to his 10,000. Clearly, you can go right to the link up here. It says donate in the top corner. You see that? I'm highlighting it right there. It turns purple. You can scroll down and see all the other stuff. So pretty cool. 35 donations made so far. We'll be giving our 100, probably be 106. You see the 106 from Michelle Trombley or whatever. That's usually so that when you do it through PayPal, you can pay off so you give the full 100 goes to them or whatever. So that's what we're doing for this month.
There's definitely a boxing theme this week, Deej.
Yeah, did you like? It's so funny how like
Synergy.
everything happens for a reason. Yeah, it's like we don't plan this stuff and it just happens, you know.
They don't know that.
No, I know. It's like, yeah. Like we've been, all right. Yeah, we've been rehearsing this since December. That's why I said November. It was, these are all pre-recorded.
Yeah.
All these shows. And cut. Let's do it again. Take two. Yeah, no, that's not us. So yeah. All right. So that's what we're doing for this month. We'll be talking more about that later in the month. So let's get to some giveaways. And for this month, for this week, I should say, we have Hunt for Red October digital giveaway, War of the Worlds digital giveaway, Ambulance digital giveaway, all from Mark Hader. And then we also have John Brock added in the Batman and Top Gun Maverick digital codes for the two of those. And then Mark emailed again with another one, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. So we have all of those to give away. And then here's the big one. John Brock stepping up huge. And notice I'm saying John Brock, not any other name. He gets no middle name for this because, I mean, when you do something like that, I mean, I can't bust on him now. So he's giving away he has two of these extra. He sent me this. This is the picture he sent me. He has two corner filled tubes. Looks like he has 12 by 12 by 24, one pack, but he says he has two. So I don't know. And I'm guessing charcoal, that's what he sent me highlighted. So I'm not 100% sure on that. He can fill us in on the details. But I don't know. How should we give these away? He said that if it's under $10 shipping, he'll just do it. If it's over $10 shipping, he's still going to do it, but he wants somebody to donate to the show and then he'll donate the shipping. So you donate to the show, 100% of it will go to the charity. It's not going to go to, so I'll add that on top of the 100. So whatever you donate for this, we'll add on to, because I'm not going to take any money from John for this. So I really appreciate this. He has two of them, so I guess I don't know if he's giving two away or one away. I don't have the email in front of me right now, but that's what he said. So maybe, is he in the chat?
No, not yet, I don't think.
Okay.
No.
All right.
He normally is. Yeah, he's running late.
Come on. No. So pretty cool. Corner trap, 12-12, one pack, 12-12 by 24, it says at the bottom there. So pretty cool. So thank you to John. Email me for details. Let me know if you're interested. I'm guessing just like we always do. First come, first serve. There you go.
Yeah, Johnny Speakers in chat say nice giveaway.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me pull that up. Nice giveaway. There we go. And it and it blocks John.
It's all right.
I've been working on that all week. There's a way to get rid of that. So I don't know. So all right. There goes my voice again. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear it last week? When I inhale,
yeah, every now and then.
There's a squeak. My wife heard it last week. I actually sent it to her. So, yeah. So, anyways, All right. Let's see. What are we up to now? We gave the giveaways. We did everything else. What do we got to do here, John?
I don't know. Tweets of the week.
All right.
Interestingly, Deej, because this is a home theatre podcast, the noise of the bang drill comes from the rear right. So they're doing it to the spatial audio. So they're putting it right over there.
Nice. Yeah, that's over here on me, and then then you hear some background noise over on this side. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm trying. When we can afford to go Atmos, I'm going Atmos. I've heard that you can do that in a podcast, and it's like, far be it for me to not offer it, right? I mean, that's what we're all about.
But we'll hear Jen above you shouting, "Wait, turn it down."
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, so John, have at it.
I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about it.
Before John does this, Deej, do we need sad Hulk music playing over this?
I know. I know.
Go on, John. Tell me. Put me out of my misery.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot to say about this. This week's tweak is called Updates Gone Wrong. So my projector, the company released a new firmware and hardware update this past Wednesday. And it had an ill effect on my projector. So I was firmly in the mindset that I did something wrong during this update, and I still believe I probably messed this up. But there are a handful of other people that have had a similar problem with it, which basically it disabled the laser. I mean, the unit will power on.
Kind of need that.
Well, yeah, right. But I'm saying it's not a brick. Like, the unit powers on. I can hear it. I get the startup sound and all. So I mean, it's coming on, but it's disabled the laser. So after a couple of rounds of trying to troubleshoot through emails and a couple phone calls with the company, it was determined that it had to go back for repair. So it is now winging its way to Florida, or I guess it's driving its way on UPS to Florida. And I mean, they'll get it repaired, I'm sure. If not, they'll replace it. Hopefully install the update while they're at it, and then send it back to me. So
how long is the turnaround, John?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, all they said was they'd get it back as soon as possible. It looks like it'll be there either tomorrow or Thursday. I imagine a couple, 3 days or so to get it fixed. I don't know how many people are ahead of me or other issues were had, and then they'll ship it back. So I'm hoping to have it 2-week turnaround total. That might be a little optimistic, but I'm hoping.
What was the firmware upgrade supposed to do?
Well, it had a couple things. Enhanced black level update, which was the major one, which was supposed to change the contrast levels, and then it added a 24 FPS movie mode as well. So, there was 2 parts. It was a rather complicated update. It wasn't just over the air. I mean, there's an over the air component, but since it was actually changing the DLP chips, the hardware, it was, there was some manual things that had to be done. It had to be hooked up to my laptop, and I had to go in and change some things. And I really believe that I flashed the wrong file to the projector, but I don't have any way to verify that I did that. That's just what I think happened, because it stopped working. So it's not like I could go back and double check anything. Or it's possible I did it correctly, and it was just, there's just a batch of these things that didn't take, or what have you. Who knows? Like you said, like you were talking earlier before we got started, and any time there's an update, there's a percentage of units that just don't take, with PlayStations and different things. So I don't hold any ill will towards the, towards the company.
No, but
I'm not happy about it. I mean, I wish I had my projector working, and by all accounts, the update is great, and it really did some good things for the picture quality. So, looking forward to getting it back. But
I think, as your lawyer, John, I'd have to say to you, you did nothing wrong. It was entirely the company's fault.
It was their fault.
Their full liability.
Well, exactly.
Oh, man,
and then they originally were talking about just replacing the unit as opposed to repairing it, but supposedly they're sold out, which I guess is a good problem to have. But it was a quicker turnaround, at least according to them. And I mean, I don't know why they'd lie about it, but it's a quicker turnaround to get it repaired than to sit around and wait for additional stock to come in. So,
yeah.
My problem is, or my fear is, that if they don't have units handy and this actually can't be repaired because of some major malfunction, then I'm going to have to wait for, a new unit. But, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean,
the good news is the UPS guy, when he brings your projector, can bring the new comics as well. So it'll all tie in together. At least you're not going to have to wait for 2 deliveries.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It sounds, John, I don't know. It sounds like you've had time to get quite sanguine about it.
I have. I was pretty upset about it. And here's the worst part about it. Like, this was Wednesday, and I had texted DJ earlier in the day about how excited I was to get home and get this going, because my wife was out of town Wednesday night and all day Thursday. And I was like, man, I'm going to go home. I'm going to get this update installed. And I have like 36 hours just to mess around with this thing and just watch what I want to watch and mess around with it and, put on a scene and turn the black off, just do all this kind of stuff. And I didn't get to do any of that. So, and then she's out of town this Thursday too, and I won't have it back in time for that either. So
just 36 hours crying in a corner.
Just being mad,
rocking backwards and forwards,
just being mad. And and the unfortunate part is, the company is in China, or at least the customer service people that I was talking to. I mean, this was mailed to Florida, so I mean, they're US based, but there's such a huge time difference. So it's like I'm sending emails and I'm waiting hours and hours for responses, and their work day is in the middle of the night for us. So Wednesday night, I literally sat up all night long looking for emails so that I could go over there and implement whatever tweaks they were trying to. So I'm just sitting up, stewing about it, being mad. But it's been 4 or 5 days now, so I'm kind of okay with it. But
and good, always look at the bright side, as it were, John. At least your Chinese is better now.
Exactly.
So that's you learned another language,
and I know what time it is in China now.
There you go. That could be useful.
13 hours ahead of me. So in case I ever need to know that. So.
Oh man, Carl is saying on the chat number of things.
I had this one ready to go for you, Steve, because I figured this is right up your alley. Is this something similar to what you do?
If I had to do any, I've done a number of firmware updates since I've had the cinema room done. On myself, on both the TV, which are just Wi-Fi, over Wi-Fi, and the Oppo, my 4K player. So I've done those, and always at the back of the mind is that nagging suspicion: is it going to reset the thing? Because the TV in particular, of course, bearing in mind I had a full calibration done, there's always in the back of my mind. But fortunately, touch wood and fingers crossed and touch wood. It's been, so you guys say knock on wood, don't you? Sorry, knock on wood, touch wood. We say touch wood. Anyway, it's the sentiment's the same. Yes,
it means something completely different here.
Well, it's only if you're touching someone else's wood.
John and I were like, do you want to say it or me? Because that's
Honestly,
that's up my alley. Usually, I'm the one that says that stuff.
John does 36 hours without his wife, and then suddenly he's gone all smutty.
Right?
Not suddenly, not at all.
Well, we heard his clip last week about how
touching dick. Yes, right. falling on.
Yeah. By the way, that I kind of felt guilty about that, and please let us know, because I do take pride in that. You can listen in the car with family and stuff like that, and you know what I mean. And it's I do like that, and I hope I didn't, because that one that's literally from a comic. We were talking about Dick Grayson, and it was just
so it was from the show Titan's show. Actually.
Titan's show, but it's Titan. The comic and Dick Grayson, and she literally fell onto him, and that's
anything taken out of context.
Correct. And I just felt like kind of bad that it was like I was like, oh no. So, but yeah, But anyways, we have some worse ones.
but yeah. So go back to the calibration thing. So if I had to do an update that was like that, then I would get the installers out to do it. I wouldn't mess with it. I wouldn't go into the machine itself. Do you know what I mean? I'd get the guys out to do that. But I've done so most of the updates have been, again, knock on wood.
Well, and again, 98% of the users had no issue. I mean, it was a little complicated, so some of them had questions, but ultimately they were all able to get their updates done. There's just a handful that I know of from the Facebook groups that have basically the same problem as mine, triple flashing red light, no laser, it's basically it just, it did something to the DLP chips and they are just not functioning. So,
yeah,
that does suck. That's it's a rough week, isn't it? Oh man. Well, hopefully
it is. I mean, I still have TVs in my house. Like I still was able to watch TV. It's not like I been sitting here staring at the walls, but it wasn't, it's, there's no surround sound. It's just my TV in my bedroom with TV speakers. So it's not like,
it's not the same, is it?
It's not the same.
No, man. No, but when you get it back, it'll be better than ever.
That's right.
No, like I was saying before, when you heard Steve and I talking about it, I'm like, it's so tough because like you were so excited that morning, like any updates come out, we all get excited to get those updates.
Right.
And we'll get to my update in a second, turn this right back around because I am the dark side destroyer. But it's that mentality. It's like, it's one thing, but short throw projectors. It's your living room. These things aren't really dedicated. Yeah. It's like your primary main watching area, and it's like when that goes south, you're like, Rrr.
I know, because now I have to eat dinner and talk to my wife because I don't have a TV to look at.
There's a marriage on the line here.
Oh, right?
Oh. You're like insisting she does scenes from The Godfather, and that keep you entertained.
Let's go act this out or something.
Yeah. Here's the lasagna, and here's some sides for you to read. Right. You're playing.
Yeah. So it's tough, and like stuff like this can really. I know you said you're taking the high road, and you're saying like you're not mad or anything, but I feel bad for the company.
I do.
Stuff like this can really break a company because you might not be mad. You have to. You own the projector, so you want to get it back. But like Steve and I were saying, it's like they've got to do something. Because it's not just you.
Right.
So, I mean, how likely are you going to be to buy this particular projector now? Right. If you're hearing stuff like this.
Well, I don't know how out there it is though, outside of people that already own it.
Well, now it's gone out to dozens of people.
Yeah, dozens of people know now, but ultimately I've been very happy with the projector, and this was like, they didn't have to do this. And that's what I keep trying to say to myself. Like, this was not a promised update. This wasn't anything that anybody was asking for. This is something they developed after product delivery. And a lot of companies would have just rolled that into a new unit and made you buy an upgraded projector or made you pay. I mean, there's lots of things they could have done rather than just giving us this free update. So, I'm trying to be positive about the whole thing, but it is frustrating. I'm not going to lie. It's frustrating. But like you said, it's a short throw. It's not like you have to pull it out of the ceiling, and if it was your projector, it's a lot more of a hassle. Although now I got to realign this stupid thing, which is a major hassle. When the new one comes in, I've got to get it all squared up again and get it aligned, which is kind of a pain, but it's all right. It'll be all right.
So that would be something the company could do. Pay for a professional calibration for everyone that goes back.
They come and calibrate it and get it all lined up back to my screen again.
There you go. They can have that one for free. That's Steve's PR ideas. I won't charge them for that.
Right. So.
Oh, Deej, you've gone muted.
Lost you.
Deej, yeah, you're muted, buddy. Yep, can't hear you. All right, John. We can go back to the football then.
Yeah,
we've got the thing to ourselves, right? So, yeah, you've gone.
So anyway, 7-0. What a game!
Yeah, sorry everyone. We've managed to get rid of DJ, so now we could just talk football until he comes. Until he comes back in.
This has changed. This is no longer a home theater podcast.
Yeah, that's it. It's
football.
The Liverpool appreciation.
That's right. Well, this week.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Last week it might have been a bit different, but this
couple days they got to play Madrid again, or next week, right? And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, let's see if they can keep it going. Yeah, Deej, still nothing there, buddy. Whilst you got it there, we can keep it on track because Carl, who's was saying that when he sees an update notice, he sends an email with time for another visit to his calibrators.
Yeah, I mean, if there was somebody local, now they offered to, like, there's a paid service where they would have done the update, for a fee. And I guess it would have all been, although I don't quite know how they would do that because there is a physical component to it. So somebody would have had to been there at least to connect the laptop and all that stuff to the projector, which I guess is pretty simple. But here is like, I can save myself 120. Well, I don't even know how much they were going to charge, but it's like I can do this. I don't need to pay $150 or whatever to do that. Now looking back on it.
Yeah.
No, you're still,
still muted. Yeah. Can't. No, it's completely. You're completely silent, Deej. We've taken over. That's it. We've usurped you.
I hit the button. I muted him.
Maybe that's what the update was for.
Exactly.
Lost a projector, but I got a mute button, and now I can rule the world. Yeah, no, that's strange. It just kind of went. But Carl thinks he may have muted DJ. Steven saying he muted DJ. He's been. That's it. We've done it. But yeah,
if Carl had that power, we'd never hear DJ.
What's frustrating is DJ can hear us.
He can hear us.
Like. He's got no right to reply. We can say what we like.
That's awesome. You might have to end this thing and reboot it, man. I hate to say that, but
just see if that if it works. It is a strange one. The way I'd say we just can't hear you. Can't even hear you sort of quietly, Deej. Yeah.
He's saying he can hear himself.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to try and come back in. I reckon they should do that. I think if the company's at fault, and it sounds like they might be, then a good PR move would be just to pay for a calibration. Not only will we let you have it back, we'll repair it for nothing, and then we will set it up for you, and then then you get some value out of it. Then don't you? Not only do you get the increased performance of the projector, you also then get you get something that makes you feel a lot better about what's happened.
Well, and now, like, I was waiting for this update to actually have my calibration done because I knew that we've heard for months that this was coming. And so I didn't want to pay to have this thing calibrated and then have to just turn around and redo it again. But we're not expecting any big updates like this going forward. So once I do get it back, I'm going to get somebody in to, really take the time and get a professional calibration done. And hopefully it'll look great. I mean, I've seen pictures of other people who have had their calibrations done and their images look fantastic. So,
Okay. Well, yeah, hopefully they will. I mean, like I said, I live in constant fear of my TV. I mean, I paid a lot of money to have it calibrated by one of the best calibrators in Europe, if not the world. And he, funny enough, had to come down from Manchester, but he's not a Manchester United fan, so that's all right. No, but I had to pay a lot of money for him to come down because it's an 8-hour round trip for him. It's a long way. Yeah. And he sent me, lovely guy, and he sent me an email with all of the settings that he tweaked on it, which I probably lost.
Good. Oh, I was going to say, at least you have that. But
so I lost it, and and so when I had a reset and reboot a while back with the TV, an upgrade, I wasn't sure if it was the same. So I emailed him, and because he's a massive geek. I mean, he is consulted by the manufacturers when they actually build these things, and he said, and he's like, look, I'll know straight away if it's between. He said, go into this menu, look at that setting. Is that setting 0 or 1? I said 0. He said, yep, it's fine.
You're good.
Because I would have done that, and it wouldn't have been like it otherwise.
And that's that was the other thing too. I feel bad for the people because this update reset. It factory reset the projector. So anybody that had paid to have a calibration done kind of lost it.
Yeah.
So unless they did, unless they went in and recorded all their settings, which, they told everybody to do because it was going to reset it. But I wasn't too worried about it because I have my own settings anyways. But I guess, he came in and went back out again. So I don't know.
He's just trolling us now. That's
yeah.
But it's bound to be frustrating. It's bound to be a frustrating thing. I mean, again, I said, I'm amazed at your zenness about the whole thing.
Yeah.
I would have been screaming.
Well, like I said, my wife wasn't too happy with me on Thursday afternoon when she got home, and I was still kind of raving about it. Well, and she's asking me about, because she's like, "Why are you in the bedroom watching TV?" And I'm like, don't even talk to me. It's like, don't. Yeah. Well, the thing is, the screen's still up, so she didn't notice that. Well, and actually, at that point, the projector was still sitting there too, because I hadn't sent it off yet. So
okay.
Nothing looked different. But she's like, "Well, what's going?" And then she's on, well, what happened? What's going on? And of course, I don't want to talk about it at all. Right? So,
yeah. Why are there these holes punched in the wall?
Don't ask
Why are your
me
knuckles
about
bleeding?
it. Yeah.
Oh man.
So.
It's not cool. I get that. Like I said, I'd be raging. I would not cope very well with that at all. It would not be good. It is the bane of modern existence, isn't it?
It is, and
these days you can do that, and it can brick things, and it is a modern issue that we didn't have in the old days. But then it's it comes with its kind of pros and cons. But
growing up, my TV's never got updates. What I mean?
No, unless you bought a new one.
Exactly.
Oh man. Oh, DJ, I don't know what has happened to DJ. He has properly done something here.
Gone.
But we'll keep it going. I mean, we can.
The problem is the next week is his, but I guess we can move on to.
Should we? Oh, let's see if he's back in. Deej, you still back? No, still nothing. Still silence.
I hate to go on to listener experiences without him, because he's gonna have thoughts that he wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, he put them in. Yeah. Deej,
I don't know what keeps happening.
Yeah, sorry about this, guys.
Keeps jumping in and jumping out.
Well, we can.
I'm sure he can still hear us because it's live.
Yeah.
So
yeah. He can do it. Well, perhaps he could perhaps from now on he can just chip in via the comment section. Deej, we'll put you up on the screen when we want to hear from you.
How about a cheap backup? Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to keep a backup short throw projector in my closet, but I have a TV in my closet that's not being used that I could just take out and put in the living room and plug my surround sound into it. But it's not worth the hassle. I mean, I can just watch TV in my room. Like, it's not the end of the world. I had to watch Mandalorian, because the thing is, am I not going to watch things for the whole week? It's like I still want to watch stuff. So, unfortunately, I had to watch the Mandalorian with my TV speakers.
Yeah, to be fair, I did too, but I didn't have to. But I did. I watched it that way, but I didn't have to. Yeah, I saw it in my front room, which is just TV, only a 46-inch screen, and I watched it in there. But
luckily, I have a 77-inch TV in my bedroom because it was my main TV. It was my living room TV until I bought the projector. So it's a pretty nice TV set. It's just but there's no sound bar. There's nothing. Hey, Brock.
Hey Brock. You've missed your shout out.
Yeah.
Just to let you know what's happening, in case you're wondering, Deej's gone silent. Just muted out of nowhere. So we're just generally chatting. But he did his. He mentioned the giveaway earlier. So very very cool. So just so you know, in case you're wondering why people are mentioning it.
Yeah. Everybody's private messaging him right now. Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, the whole thing's all gone. Everything's gone down. But there we go. All right, so time to run. Oh, okay, right there we go. Carl's off. Carl is heading off. Call for to bring Brock.
Calls. Yeah,
yeah. Oh man. Well, I don't know. I mean, we could go on and just talk, a few other things. I mean, the Mike Schramm's one we could have a little chat about, I suppose.
All right.
Because then we could always go back into that with DJ's tweet, because he mentions some stuff about Puss in Boots. So I suppose we could do that, or we can chat projectors. It's up to you. What do you reckon? John, you're in control.
I mean, I think we could just go to the experience. I think Mike's ties directly into DJ's tweak, which we don't really know what he's got, but we can move on to
let's do that.
Listener experiences, and you know, we'll just go on because you know, the show must go on.
Must go on. Exactly that. The show must go on, and my heart must go on as well. I've seen Titanic. Exactly. I know how this works. If it's good enough for Celine Dion, it's good enough. Good enough.
Us. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Do you want to go first then with
sure.
Chris Brown?
So Chris Brown commenting on Ghostbusters Afterlife. Just finished Quantumania, and your assessments were spot on about it being better at home. This will be great when I get it home. At the theater, it was so dark I could barely make out what was happening on screen, and the sound was like being in a library. Colors were very muted as well, and everything looked flat and no bass. Very disappointed. Overall, I thought the movie itself was decent, not terrible, but much longer than it needed to be.
Yeah. So, how was your Quantumania experience theatrically?
Now, I thought, I don't know, you know, and again, everybody's theater is different, so your mileage may vary, but I didn't have any issues with the image quality at all. I didn't think the colors, it was very vibrant and colorful where I saw it. And, you know, I see it in the big XD theater, so it's not Atmos, but it has pretty good sound. So I didn't think my theater experience was necessarily lacking, although it will still probably be better at home when you get the Atmos and, you know, a nice tuned system. I had more issues with the movie itself and the story than I did with like I said, with the image or sound quality.
Yeah, I mean, I must admit, I know, as you know, because we talked about, and I'm sure Chris is aware. I mean, I loved the film. Right. I thought that the story worked for me just because it was so silly and kind of so dopey, and that it was just quite nice, and a nice change to Wakanda Forever with the very po-faced and serious and right. So I was ready for something silly, and the other two before that were kind of that way as well. So they you know, I thought it was more of the same. So I really liked that. And I did see it at home, but I watched it on a screener, so I didn't see it in a proper right. either theatrically or indeed the home theater. I only watched it in my front room, right? Because again, when I see it,
will be much improved.
yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. I mean, it'll be great to see it, but yeah. So yeah, but I think we're going to talk in a bit about some issues with theatrical presentation and some problems that we that people are encountering with those, and that's been in the news this week. So yeah, I mean, like you said, all mileage will vary. Some theaters seem to be more keen on it than others. So yeah, no, I agree. I think but I am looking forward to getting it at home. But of course, interestingly today, and that's not in DJ's notes, so I think we can talk about it. Avatar, The Way of Water, it's come out today. It's been released 28th of March, I think it is.
Digitally, right?
Yeah.
I saw that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Which maybe Disney are now moving away from theatrical, Disney Plus, then disc. And it's going to be theatrical, digital, then Disney Plus, and then disc. So that's not entirely welcome.
Now, I think Kaleidescape will probably get it with the digital release because that seems to be the way it goes for them. But yeah, the fact that they didn't have a date attached for the physical release is a little worrisome.
So
although I'd still be surprised if it got to Disney Plus before it hit disc. But
whether you never know. Be surprised if it hit disc first or
no? I would think it would hit disc first before it hits Disney Plus. I would hope, you know, like the digital release will hit Vudu, Kscape, all those things, but it won't be on Disney Plus until some months later. And I would hope that we get the disc sometime before it hits Disney Plus.
Yeah, it would be nice. I mean, when it got tweeted out earlier by, I think it's Disney's like head of global PR or something, he tweeted it out and I responded saying, any news, is it HFR 24 frames per second? Because to me, I need to know. And I haven't heard back yet, but there's no mention of HFR in the press release. So I'm cautiously optimistic that maybe we won't have to deal with that. It would be nice, but we'll, we will see. But yeah, so I hope though, that's not now going to become a precedent moving forward. I happen to know there are things in the pipeline at Disney that are things are changing. It's not just the man at the top. Their approach to home releases and their back catalog is definitely changing, and I know that for a fact. I can't say why,
and I know you can't. Yeah, I know you can't really say. So I don't know if that's changing for us. If that's a welcome change or a negative change. It would appear to be an availability change. It's going to be more stuff's coming, which is what we want. They appear to be realizing that actually disc is something that is worth doing, that maybe streaming doesn't pay the bills, and that there's a whole other world out there. So yeah, things are definitely changing, but I hope it's not in an unwelcome, it's all going to be digital for months and then it's going to be disc and then Disney Plus, because that would be unfortunate. But yeah, we'll see. All I care about with Avatar is it's not HFR. Right.
If it's HFR, I'll said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not buying it. I'm not watching it again.
Never watch
if
it
it's
again.
only HFR, no.
I'm not sure that I'll buy it either way. I haven't seen it.
Of course. Yeah,
other,
of course.
But,
yeah.
But I may. I don't know. Like, I don't own the original Avatar at this point. Well, I did actually take it back. I own the Blu-ray, not 3D, just the regular. I don't know that I would try to go down the 3D road with it. But I might pick it up. I might pick up the disc. If it depends on how it's reviewed. Like if it's if it seems to be a must own disc, I'll probably pick it up. But
yeah, if it's HFR, I'm not even doing that.
Right.
Be the greatest disc ever. I am not watching that film again. Like
not
that.
doing it.
I just can't do it. It just does not work for me at all. Alrighty, so that's Chris Brown. So all right, so if we move on then to the next one, now we've got to read some of DJ's notes here. So but I'll do this one. So this is Paul. It doesn't say much more. It doesn't say kind of where this came from, whether it was an email. It looks like it may have been an email. But Paul started with some very nice compliments regarding Jen's podcast and DJ's family. And then he said, on a home theater note, recently got 2 REL 1003 HTs, end of model sale, 40% off and much improvement for movies. Took a little getting used to and placement for music, but I think they sound great now. And that's Paul B. And he sent in a picture of them as well. Yeah. What are your subs, John? What make are yours? Are yours the SVS?
SVS, yeah. PC 2000s.
Okay.
And then I have got one SB12. So I've got 2 PC 2000s and then an SB12. So
are they all hooked up together?
They're all hooked up through the mini DSP. And so they all have separate channels, basically, or separate calibrations through the DSP, but they're all hooked up through that one box and then into one input on the receiver.
Nice. I've not got any experience with REL ones. Have you ever used those?
I haven't. I mean, he's got a picture here and they look.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks kind of like my SV. Yeah, it looks like my SVS. What did he say? Did he say what size these were?
It just says 2 REL 1003.
Look like 12s probably.
Yeah, they do.
Because that's what my 12 looks similar in size to that. So yeah, I don't know what he's coming from. What he had before, but they look like they do the job. Yeah.
No, and interestingly, notice that it's on a hard floor. Sorry, guys, those listening and watching, we're looking at pictures of it. So that looks to be on a hard floor. Those look to be like rubber feet.
I was looking at that too. I don't know if that's a tile or if it's an actual stone floor. Maybe they're tile, like ceramic. But yeah, and some rubber isolation feet. It looks like it's got on there. So
yeah, to stop them running around like yours did.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, alrighty. They look good. They do look nice. They look very cool. I mean, mine are DLS flat box subs.
Okay.
And they've got to be thin profile because of the room that I've got.
Right.
But they can be wall mounted, although my ones aren't. They're on the floor, but they can be mounted to the wall. So yeah, but because of the needs of the room, they had to be quite thin. But they're as I say, I think I've said before, they will quite happily rearrange the film.
They do
rearrange the movie, if rearrange the room quite happily. If you've got it up. Oh, here we go. So Stephen says that it's a 10-inch. Stephen says it's a 10-inch. Yeah. hence the 1003. Oh, thanks, Stephen. There you go. Educating us. Yeah. Well, we've got a space open, Stephen. So if you want to just jump in, that's...
If I knew how to bring somebody else in, I would do it, but it's all being run on DJ's end.
All righty. So should we move on to Gurinder then?
Yeah, from Gurinder. Yeah. So
I honestly like how it starts.
I was going to say, you should have probably read this one, but it says, I think Steve is right. Midway is what brought the whole podcast together, LOL. I have noticed over the past few podcasts that the audio seems to have improved in regards to the voice levels of all three of you. In the past, the three of you seem to be at different mic levels, and at times it could be hard to hear. Recently, it seems all three of you have similar levels. All you need is a co-host from Australia, and then you could say from all across the other side of the world, saying, allow me to retort, may you sound so sophisticated. Steve's vocabulary must be rubbing off on you. So, I mean, I know that DJ is constantly working on the behind-the-scenes stuff when it comes to the sound and, keeping all our mic levels, at a similar volume. And I think now with this new format that we've used the last couple of weeks, I think he said it was even being done automatically by the software. So he wasn't having to really go in and do much of anything. But I'm glad it's noticeable, at least for for the listeners, because there's nothing more frustrating than, when you're listening to a podcast and you have to turn it all the What? Now I'm getting an echo.
Yeah.
I'm getting an echo. So DJ's back. I don't know. But anyways,
how about now?
Oh, yeah, you're back. You're back.
But now there's an echo.
DJ. Is there an echo still?
Yeah, for us, not for you.
I know.
Yeah.
How about now?
I think that's
is that better?
Echo.
Yeah.
You can still hear the echo?
Yep.
Now fighting out of this corner.
How about now? How about now?
Still.
Yeah.
Still.
Now we have to vote.
He's just taking back control of the show.
He's going to do the show by himself.
Yeah, no kidding. No, this is brutal. How about now?
Can we hear it? Yeah, it's still echoing.
I hear Steve and myself.
Yeah. I was enjoying John's Michael Buffer voice.
Now?
Yes.
Now?
Still. It's still doing it. Yeah.
Do you not hear our echo?
No, I don't get it. No, that's the Rodecaster. It's set. There's a mix minus that I can set up, but I don't know why it's not doing it right now, because this is the setting. Something went wrong with this thing. Clearly.
Do you want us to drop out and try to come back in?
Nope. It's not on your end. I've been on with Evan from StreamYard, and we've been going back. I had to reboot the Rodecaster. Main channel, pro chat. Figures. Still, all right. Are you getting an echo now?
Yep.
Yes.
Still echoing. Yeah.
Okay. Isn't this fun for everybody?
Yeah.
I wish I could pause the live stream. That's what stinks. We're going live with all this.
Well. I was gonna say we might have to just.
How about now?
Another live.
Oh, I think that's fixed it.
Is that it?
Yep. Done.
Yeah, it's gone.
Good.
Yeah,
and we're back live.
And we're back live.
Oh,
yeah. Now, John, I mean, do we now need to bill DJ for our extra time? I mean, we stepped up, we stepped in smooth as anything. I think there needs to be an invoice sent through.
I think we should be the charity of the month for April. Is what I think. Steve
but
and
how
John,
smoothly did we carry on?
You did great. You I'm telling you right now. I was like, John knows so well. If this happened 2 years ago, I would have, like, that door next to me, there'd be a hole in it.
Yeah,
I would have flipped out. You guys did awesome. Thank you. It made everything so much easier. You guys are awesome. Awesome.
No problem.
Just carrying on. I was like, damn. I'll just set the shows up.
Exactly. We don't need you at all, man.
I was like, and what's funny is my next step after rebooting the Rodecaster was I might have had to reboot my computer. And I'm like, I said to Evan, who was great, thank you very much, from customer support. I said, can I bow out of this and reboot my computer and they can keep the live stream going? And he's like, yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is it being hosted by YouTube then, is it?
I guess like once you guys are in now, I just can, I don't want to test it now. We've done enough.
But once it's live, I guess it just stays
once
live.
it's live, you guys can carry on. I can duck out and come back in. I mean, I never left the studio. I was always here. The only little bit I didn't hear was when I rebooted the Rodecaster. So
Okay.
If there's one thing we've learned this week, let's not do any unnecessary updates.
Yes.
Let's not mess around, Teach. Now we've got it working. Let's love it.
No firmware updates.
Hang on. Let me just thank Evan.
Is he listening? I mean, it's very nice of him. I mean, I didn't know. Well, what are the chances?
No, he was. He's just
good.
Customer support or whatever.
Well, while you're doing that, we'll carry on with Gorinda's email. Then we can go back to tweaks. But yeah, because also I don't know. Now, tell me this, John. Do you think did Gorinda miss the "allow me to retort" quote from Pulp Fiction? Do we think?
Yeah, I don't know if he knew where that came from. But
yeah, because Deej said it because of that. It was definitely a Pulp Fiction quote. But right. I think Gorinda needs to rewatch Pulp Fiction.
He didn't actually get smarter. He just remembered something from a movie he saw once.
But you know,
once.
Well, yeah, 37 times.
37.
Yeah. Another reference that.
Yeah. That's it. And more movies to listen to.
Right.
But do you know what? I was thinking the first two lines of Gorinda's email. Obviously not the "I think Steve is right" bit, but midway is what brought me here. Right. And this is the fun. And I was thinking about this at court earlier because I was, I'm sad like that. And I was thinking to myself, because the first time I made contact with DJ was not because I didn't like Midway, but was because he'd reviewed it and then said, and I hadn't seen it. And I said, oh, could you put a separate bit in so there are no spoilers? That was the very first time I had contact from him. And Deej made contact back, which I was amazed about because I didn't think people did that. Right. And then having seen it, I then said, oh, it wasn't that great. But without Midway, I don't say about spoilers. Without the spoilers, we don't get to me saying I didn't like it. Without me saying I didn't like it, we don't get to featured theaters. Without that, we don't get to Takeover Tuesdays or Tuesdays 2 or the little, Crossing the Pond, and we don't get here. So Midway definitely is why I'm here.
Yeah.
So, it is cool. It is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what that sound was.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It sounds like Pong. Are we going back to video games again?
Yeah.
Nope. That's Evan in the chat. He's like, oh, excellent. Thanks for the show.
No, I'm listening.
So.
I was just thinking we were dropping again.
No. Let me close.
It sounded like we were on a submarine for a minute. I was a little bit worried. It was, contact bearing 039.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
torpedoes in the water.
All right. I got to get back into the game here. What are we on now?
Yeah. We skipped your tweak.
Yeah, because
it's mine.
It's yours, right? We didn't know how to talk about it. Otherwise, we would have.
Right. So we did a couple. Do we want to just skip that for this week? And I'll just do the tweaks next week.
All right.
Okay. So let me. I did all this work. So let me get to. Let me play the listener experiences. Open. Just in the middle of it, but
hold on. We still here?
Yeah, we're still here.
That's real paper. You can't fake that sound at home.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be one messed up. I don't know if I should edit some of that out because you guys did a great job. So there's really not much to edit there.
Just the echo part, maybe.
Just the echo out of it.
It's all part of the fun, DJ. I mean, it's quite endearing. Yeah. And again, it could have. Some shows would have just gone to pieces, and so it was fun to just do it. It's a laugh. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah. The sights, the sounds, the failures,
the holy wait, so that
exactly. So
I think you did it deliberately, Deej. I think you did it deliberately to be in solidarity with John.
It was a test.
Things going wrong, problems. That's what it was.
I don't know what it was, but at least now I know next time if something like that happens, it was the Roadcaster, which I can't say enough about. Who was it that you said? Somebody, was it Gurinder mentioned? A few people this week mentioned the audio quality.
Right.
Was it
That's what
Gurinder
we were
you
just
read?
talking
Yeah, it was.
about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And yes, it is. It's StreamYard. It's all of this, but everything that I learned trying to get it. I also do a little bit at the end. I'm trying to, when I put the podcast out, the podcasts are tweaked a little bit, using compression and stuff to get us even, but StreamYard is making a big difference. All of these things combined coming together right at this time is why, I've worked really hard to learn about all this stuff so that we can have it. Like John and I always wanted to sound like we were in the same room. And early on, people were like, he's in Texas, and that was impressive. And now I'm just trying to get better. So you guys know behind the scenes how picky I am about. Can you bring your mic up a little bit? Can you do this? So yeah. So it's all like this thing's helping everything. So it's all getting better. So thank you everybody for commenting that you're noticing. I like that. It's nice. So appreciate that. All right. What else do we have?
I think we're up to Van Gool's comment. If you want to read that one.
Okay. You read Chris Brown. You read, oh yeah. Van Gool. Yeah. John, you want to just run the show?
Yeah. Why don't you take that, DJ?
Exactly. It's like, it's good that we share the notes like this for this.
Yeah.
Just for this situation.
Well, we would have been screwed without it.
I don't think so. You guys can carry on a pretty good conversation because you were before you even said you want to get back to the notes. I heard it. Yeah. So, all right. Van Gool, Clear and Present Danger home theater experience in 4K. Van Gool says, another good podcast. You guys talked about Clear and Present Danger this week. What other older movies do you guys recommend adding to your collection? All of them? No. I'm a big fan of action, obviously. So Under Siege. I would, if Van Gool, if you haven't heard me talk about it, I love Under Siege. Todd, who was just on Tuesday's podcast, which is today as we're recording this, we did a whole Under Siege podcast on that. Movies like that, really, it's just so much fun. The older movies and the stuff that you can pull out from the 80s. Another great one, Predator, if you don't have that in 4K. That is a great 4K disc that I also reviewed. Well,
it's worth getting the box set. There's the trilogy, isn't there? Mm-hmm. You've got Predator 1 and 2, and then Predators is available, I think, all in a 4K set. And they're all decent, solid transfers. So I didn't say to you guys, having at that show a couple of weeks ago, Mark Craven, the editor of Home Cinema Choice, he won't mind me saying this because he loves it. Predator 2 is his favorite film of all time.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. He will not hear a word said about Predator 2. Oh, yeah.
Really?
He won't have a word said about it. Other than that it's the greatest movie ever.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I just think it's I liked Predator so much, and I'm like, I just felt like it was just like, okay, let's just make a 2. I don't know. It's, I don't know. How do you feel about it, Steve?
I mean, it's not a patch on Predator. When Predator is a stone cold, bona fide, instant classic. So it's not up there with that, but I like it. What I like most about Predator 2 is you can feel that film. It's got texture. Mm-hmm. Everybody's sweaty. Everybody's drenched with sweat because it's supposed to be the hottest summer ever or whatever it is in LA. And so what I like is just the sweat. You could almost smell it and feel that film. And I like how they pushed it towards the end. I liked how they tried to push the lore. You've got the gun from 1776, which of course has a interesting echo. Talking of Prey and everything else. Of course, that is the gun that she is in possession of in Prey. And so I like how it does that. And of course, we get the Aliens versus Predator thing as well, don't we? So you get the alien skull in the ship. Now that was great for 1990, 1991. that got the juices flowing, to be sure. Once that was seen, it was just, oh my God, they're in the same universe.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So yeah, I like Predator 2, but it's not the greatest film ever made. But then again, I appreciate I am talking to someone, Deej, who said Transformers was better than The Godfather. So
home theater.
I know the company.
You're going to
I'm in.
argue with me? This is about the sights, the sounds, and the scenes, right? And
I'm just saying we haven't had Paul Hurt back since
we have the comment in here for this week, I believe, that talks about the sights, the sounds, and the scripts. Right, that's coming up, and we'll get to that. But I stand by that all day long. Transformers is a far superior movie to The Godfather. Clip that right there in a home theater.
Poster quote.
Right. Yeah, exactly. In a home theater.
DJ of Brightside Home Theater said.
Right. Send the hate mail to John at brightsidehometheater.com.
Send it all there.
So Coney with an I.
It'll end up in the ether. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
But yeah, no, Paul Hurt, who was in the chat room that night, who took mild offense at that. We haven't seen him since.
Yeah.
So we might have upset him.
We scared him away.
Yeah. But no, I mean Predator 2 is great, but as I said, Mark Raven just thinks it's the best film ever. So, and of course, Bill Paxton's really good in it. Danny Glover's really good in it. It's a good movie, but So older movies. Now, what qualifies then as an older movie? I mean, Van Gaal says older movies. What are we talking about?
I would
Black
think
and white, pre-70s. Are we talking about anything older than last year?
I'd say 90s.
80s and 90s.
80s, 90s action. That's what I'm thinking of. Like,
gents, are we at the position when a film in the 90s is an older movie?
Yes, we are.
Look, I'm the young one here, and I'm still feeling old.
Exactly. And that's what's.
I still think 1970 when you say 30 years ago.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, movies from the 90s. I mean, we've been recently, actually, we've reviewed quite a few, haven't we? And again, so you can say Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, you can say Usual Suspects, apparently is very good. Those kinds of movies are well worth picking up and looking at if you haven't seen them. And obviously Gorinda needs to pick up Pulp Fiction. But there are those kind of movies. Under Siege, I agree. The only problem with that, Deej, is the Blu-ray of that's not much cop. I don't think, from what I remember, it's not that great.
Yeah.
So it needs an update. Unless have you got the 4K in Kaleidescape? Have you, or is it just still the HD version? Or I'm not sure if that'd be worth picking up on Blu-ray because it's.
What are we talking about? I was just
Under Siege. Under Siege.
Yes, I have it on. I've watched it on Kaleidescape. No.
Okay, I was going to say.
No, it's just HD. Just HD.
Yeah. The Blu-ray's not brilliant. I mean, I've got the Steven Seagal box set that I bought last year sometime, and it's got. Oh, there's your email coming in again. And it's got and it had about 5. Steven Seagal films in it, and Under Siege was one of those, and it wasn't brilliant. It's a good film, for its time.
Just not a good transfer.
But it's quite flat. There's lots of print speckles on it, and the audio is not that great. So I don't know if I'd recommend picking up the Blu-ray of that necessarily, or maybe wait for a 4K release. It's a Warner's film, so they may well do it. But yeah,
it's an older movie though, so I didn't mind it. Like when I watched that Blu-ray, I loved it. I mean, I don't have high expectations of it, right? So it's like I know you're not wrong, Steve, but I really, really enjoyed the movie. It's just a fun, leave your brain at the door type of movie. Have fun with it, and then that's it, So I just that but. I guess you're right. It's not a reference disc or anything, but it is a fun older movie. So.
Yeah, fair play. What do you think of the sequel to that, Dark Territory?
I enjoy it, but I think it stinks.
It's got some of the worst CGI I think I've ever seen. The satellite space stuff looks like it's a cartoon.
I love the scene. One of my favorite scenes when the guy gets maced and he just the pepper spray and he just goes he's like we eat that for breakfast. Come on. I love that scene. It's like because I mean that's real. That's not even a joke, So I mean that's pretty cool. I thought that was fun. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to say like other you recommend adding to your collection. It's like it's so hard because it's kind of like saying what are good movies to demo your system, and it's kind of like what do you like? You know, all the older ones that you love, anything that's going to inspire you to be like just sit down and be like, oh my God, it's like when I was a kid. You know, and it's like and again, a great point you guys just made about what's older. Because older to us is going to be different to other people. Like, we're like, that's not older. That was after, like, John, right? How many times have we said, like, that's not old. That was after we graduated.
Right.
Anything after you graduate high school isn't old.
It's not old.
Just except us.
Right.
Well, actually, to be fair, fellas, looking on a bit later, we are going to be talking about a movie from the 90s. I think.
Yeah.
Was it the 90s? Yeah. It's another Die Hard honor. Yeah, that might be one to recommend as well. I suspect it probably is. Yeah, because I've got the 4K of that too, so I know a bit about that. All right.
So for Van Gool, best answer: just keep listening to the podcast. We talk about old movies all the time.
That's it. Or previous episodes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of the movies I'm going to talk about today is, I swear I reviewed it, but I couldn't find it. So I can't wait to tell everybody, like, if you found it, because I remember typing it out, everything. So, all right. What are we up to? That's Van Gool's.
Yeah, so it should be me.
Somebody want to take WV Brews?
I got it. Yeah. It said, this is DJ's comment. Looks like we sent WV Brew on a Gerard Butler binge.
Yep.
And there's a tweet from WV Brew, Brightside HT, change intro to the sights, the sounds, the script for Steve. I love you, but holy cow, I thought my living room was having an earthquake. That was high octane HT experience in regards to Hunter Killer. And then follow it up with a tweet at Brightside HT. Has terrible rotten ratings, but I thought the story was future realistic. 3D battle scenes good, 7.1 mix really good, probably ahead of its time. And this was for Gamer. Yeah, also Gerard Butler. So
yeah. So I mean, WV's got the same mindset I do. Like, it doesn't have to be a great movie. I just want a great experience in my room, you know. And hey, if it's a great movie too, that's all the better. But I mean, just crank it up and watch things go boom. And that's fun for me. So
right.
Well, to be fair, Hunter Killer, we talked about that. I mean, you guys turned me back onto it when you were talking about it when I was in Spain. Yeah. Because I remember sat around the pool and you guys talking about it and me thinking, oh God, I watched that and it was crap. And I turned it off. And yet you guys were like, get it. So I ordered it around the pool. I literally ordered it from Amazon. It was waiting for me when I got back amongst with a load of other discs. And I enjoyed it. We talked after it. You know, I enjoyed it properly in the cinema room much more than I did the first time I saw it. And it's not a bad film, but the disc is great. You know, all those firefights. Again, the bit I remember most is the opening bit where the camera goes over the Arctic Sea and then goes under the water, and you get that lovely water going up and over the screen. You know,
that's like the opening too, right? Right at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's how you know it's going to be good, because it's like it from the very beginning. It's like The Northman. You know that's going to be great. To go back to that again, you know it's going to be great because it starts off up here, and it's therefore you know you're in for a treat. And Hunter Killer's like that. Now, Gamer, though, I've seen it. I could not with a gun to my head. I couldn't. I've seen it. I know I've seen it, but with a gun to my head, I could not tell you a single thing about that film other than it's got Gerard Butler in it and it's called Gamer. And that's never a sign of a good film.
I don't remember much of it either. I know I've seen it as well.
It's not one of his best.
Yeah.
But although we're going to be talking another Gerard Butler film again, so who's been on the Gerard Butler binge?
I had already, I know, and that's actually part of my tweak too. So maybe I will mention that. We'll tie it all in then.
But I've got to say, again, as I said last week, I do love how we get in these little seasons, these little binges of actors or genres or directors and stuff. It's great fun. Like, I'm now on a Stallone binge, obviously, which we'll talk about in a bit. And I'm already thinking as I'm watching these, do you know what? I'm going to go and redo all the Rambo films again. First Blood for the 4,000th time, and then the rest of them for the 400th time, just because it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching these films, which we're going to talk about in a bit, I'm thinking, so that was after First Blood, but that would have been before Rambo 2. So you've got the, so I can see the physique there, and I can see why that's changed.
Right.
And so I'm going to end up going back with that.
Oh, he gets crazy. Like Stallone following his physique. It's ridiculous how, like, by the time he gets to 4,
well, even 3,
Rocky 4,
even 3, it's
even
a completely different physique to 1 and 2. I mean, they even mention it.
Yeah.
They even mention, look, he looks like a middleweight.
Yeah.
Like, he's totally different.
Yeah. So I don't know how you punch with your arms out like that. All right. We got, you want to take this one, Steve, from John?
Yeah. So
did you guys read the article?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
I didn't. Yeah. I was just looking at it right now.
Yeah. Okay. So this is in an email, I'm thinking, or is this is no, it's not. It's a tweet, isn't it? Is this from John, or is this John just including the link?
I just wanted to talk about the link from Vulture. Okay. And did you read it, John? Because I have it here.
Well, no, I'm looking at it right now. I mean, I haven't read it, but I'm looking at it.
Yeah. So this was an article. I did read it. It was a few days ago, but this is we had this forwarded to us, I think, from John, hadn't we? And talking about exactly as it says there. So bad projection ruining the movie theater experience, and generally talking about poor quality in some theaters, not all, of course. We're not besmirching any particular organization or theater chain, but that some are better than others, and unfortunately lots of them are not good at all. Now, I've certainly had a poor experience on more than one occasion, many occasions of poor projection, and as I said to one of the people who in fact tweeted this article, is that when I had an issue and I raised it with the theater manager, and this was Into the Spider-Verse actually, I raised it, and the manager just shrugged and just said, "Oh well, look, we'll refund you the money, or we'll give you some free tickets to the next showing." And, well, if it's bad now, why am I going to want to come back? But yeah. So and I've had it a number of times since, both audio and video. But video tends to be the bigger problem for me. That's where I tend to see it. Again, black levels are grey. It's blurry, and it's not cool. So yeah, I know exactly what this is. And again, though, this is just one more reason why give me the movie day and date at home or at the cinema, and I will see it at home every day of the week and twice on Sundays. For me, there is no substitute. But I appreciate I'm in the minority.
Reading,
well, you're not in the minority here on this show.
Well, I don't know, but you guys, I think both value the theatrical experience more than I do in terms of the commercial one. You guys have both been quite enthusiastic about that, whereas I don't enjoy it most of the time.
I enjoy the date night aspect of it. Like I like to take my wife to the movies and out to dinner. I mean, I don't ever think the experience is better than what you can get at home. Again, certain exceptions like Endgame, right? Like that's not an experience you can get at home. The home theater wise, you can probably get a good or better experience, but you don't have people standing and cheering and doing all that stuff in your house. If you have that stuff going on in your living room, you get too many people over. But
telling them to shut up and threatening to kick them out.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, I like the I guess the social aspect of it to some degree, but not the, like I said, when it comes to picture and sound quality or just enjoyment of the film itself, it's always better at home.
I mean, I think my issue is because I like the home cinema so much more, I routinely wait for movies to come home before I see them. It's much more common. Funny enough, there was a survey from Sony Pictures. They sent me an email in the week saying, how many times do you go to the cinema in an average year? And I was thinking about it. It's about 3, if that. This is how much I wait. Yeah. So when I go, it tends to be for movies that I'm just so enthused about I can't wait for. And very often there'll be films that only I want to see. So it will be for me very often quite a solitary experience. It sounds really sad. I do have friends, I swear. But it will be films that I just want to see and that friends and that don't really want to. So for me, it's a different experience. I go to see the film. It's not the social experience. So and then when you then don't get the presentation you want, then that becomes a big problem. So I don't know. Again, I just Hollywood, if you're listening, let's go back to the pandemic days. I'll have it day and date, please. And then I need never darken your doors again.
Right.
Well, and John knows I was really fighting for the theaters pre-pandemic. Even early on, I felt bad and everything, but I don't think the pandemic caused anything. I think it accelerated the issues, right? Accelerated the outcome of what was going to happen. This one that I highlighted on that article is the lack of masking. That really, resonated with me when I read that, because some of the theaters I've been to, the curtains don't move anymore. They don't do anything. You just watch. They don't care.
Right.
And it's funny because if you're a listener of this show and of HT guys, I know they're talking about this article as well this week. I don't know if John sent it to them as well or somebody else, but it is ringing through home theater. So I can't wait to. I kind of know R and I talked about it a little bit. But I can't wait to hear their take as well. But I think they're missing a huge opportunity here, because when you read this article and you realize how much crap they're putting out there. And I've always said it's because most people don't care. 95% of the population doesn't notice the difference.
Right.
But the more I keep saying that, I realize there's an opportunity to educate people, put it in your advertising, kind of like what AMC is doing. And it says it in this article that AMC, they're investing in laser projectors. They're investing in better picture. They're advertising that that's what they're trying to do. If that gets you to go to the theater, what's a better picture look like? It gets people out. And if you can impress them, then you have a chance, right?
Right.
Theaters they've been resting on the blockbuster. Everybody's pissed that the blockbusters are doing so well, but yet that's all the theaters are resting on. It's the story and the action of us, the comic book fans, going and everybody paying multiple times to see these movies, Endgame and all of that. They're resting on that, and they're not giving you that, like John said, the date night experience. They don't give it. They don't care. They just know you're going to show up. And now, all of a sudden, when people aren't showing up, they're like, what do we do? How about care? It's like, I don't know. I mean, just a guess, right?
Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad.
There's a bit of a catch-22 there, though, isn't there? Because it's like the AMC or whoever it might be will say, well, there's no point in spending this money, which we pretty much don't have, because no one's coming. Right. But no one's coming because you're not spending the money.
Right.
So that's it's a perpetual cycle, isn't it? And especially at the moment when everybody's cash strapped, it's very difficult. But yeah, I mean, when I worked at a cinema, I worked at a cinema for about a year when I was doing my my postgraduate diploma in legal practice, and I worked in a cinema there, and that was 99 into 2000. And they still had projectionists, and you still had, the celluloid projectors, and so you had someone whose job it was, normally two people actually up in the gallery, to make sure that these things were being shown properly. And if there was a problem, you'd radio up to them, and they'd sort it, and it was done. But many, if not all of the chains don't have them anymore. Because now it's a computer and you hit play and away it goes. And if it isn't working, what are they supposed to do? Perhaps they should, because you know what they should be doing, Deej? They should be ringing Evan. He seems to be able to fix everything.
Right.
Exactly.
Just stop the film.
Just don't call me to do their updates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, quite. Yeah. We've reached your limits there, John.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So now there's no one to call. This is why the manager, when I raised it with him, goes, "What do you want me to do about it?" Right. You might as well be trying to tell him to, go and change it. Paint the bumper on my car out the front. Same thing. He hasn't got a clue. So
right.
you need an expert for that, Deej.
Yep.
So this is the thing, they don't know what to do. So that's again a sign of them not caring, or a change in the industry. There's been a rush to get to digital projection, a rush to get to the ease of that, and then unfortunately the art of projection has been lost. And this is a consequence of it. But again, as I said, it's just going to affect everything moving forward, because people will, as we turn our living rooms into theaters and our theaters into living rooms, something gets lost along the way, and that's kind of where we're at, which is a shame. Well, it would be if I cared about theatrical experience, but I don't. So
You don't.
that's fine.
Right.
But I know that most people, most people, even in this sphere, do care about it, and I get that. But but for me personally, give me home cinema all day long.
Yeah. I mean, I care about it because it's what founded home theater, right? Most of us are trying to duplicate that experience, right? And what are the kids nowadays going to do? Duplicate crap? Right? Like, let me
watch cool stuff in our cinemas.
Yeah, they're going to go like, we're going to in the opposite of HDR to duplicate what you get at the cinema, and like a grainy, it's like, it's just horrible. So, I feel bad, but at the same time, they're kind of doing it to themselves.
Right.
So what are you going to do?
I mean, the theatrical industry there is very different to here. We talked about it a couple of weeks back. I think over there you've got big chains, and then you've also got a lot of, I hesitate to use the phrase, sort of mom and pop kind of, theaters, individual theater owners, which you just don't really have here, not to any real number. There's big companies. We've got Odeon, and we've got Cineworld, and we've got Showcase, which you guys have got over there, and then that's pretty much it, other than little mini art house theaters who have got their own kind of problems and their own issues in terms of getting people there. So the mechanics of the industry, I think, are different there to here. But the problems are very much still in evidence. And as I said, wherever you go, there's always that issue. But there it is. Never mind. Anyway, happy.
Yep.
Bright side, guys.
Yeah. The dark side destroyer. All right. Let's get to some bright side stuff here. Steve Attias?
Yeah, he's in the chat. He's in the chat.
Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, there he is. Steve
Yeah.
ATT. See, he's screwed me up there. But Steve said, at Brightside HT, been a subscriber a few weeks before John joined as a regular. So maybe you have reviewed this before, but I have on Battle Los Angeles 2011, and it's an explosion highlight reel. It's only HD with DTS Master Audio 5.1, but I'm upmixing it with Oro 3D on Plex. Pretty amazing. I loved that movie. That's another one, leave your brain at the door, but Aaron Eckhart's in that as well, right? Is that Aaron Eckhart? It's same thing. It's just explosion highlight reel, exactly like Steve said. It's awesome. We haven't reviewed that one, so stay tuned. I don't think Steve likes it though. He's got the sign.
I feel bad.
Head tilt.
I do. Well, this is the problem. I seem to remember seeing that in the cinema.
The scripts.
But I really enjoyed it in the cinema, and I've seen it a couple of times since. But I watched it relatively recently in the cinema room. Okay. And I was left a bit underwhelmed at the end of it. I don't know, some of its flaws became a bit more apparent to me, I think. And it's a PG-13, I think, which I always think is a mark of a strange thing when you're trying to do, somewhere where lots of people get killed and all the rest of it. It seems a bit of an odd rating, but still. So I was a bit underwhelmed.
Star Wars was PG, and they killed billions of people by blowing up
but not
a
on
planet.
camera. Yeah, not on camera.
I saw the planet go boom.
Yeah. You see any
the
bodies?
Death Star too.
Yeah. No pieces of arms floating in space.
Yeah,
though.
exactly that. Yeah. They weren't on a planet with guns being fired at them and all the rest.
Okay.
So the rating hurts it, but I was a little bit underwhelmed. I found, and this will be interesting. So if you do review it, DJ, I'll be curious to see what you think of it. I don't know how long ago you last saw it.
Since I've had my latest upgrades in my system. So
I found when I watched it recently, it was quite muddy. The audio
Really?
was, and I mean, it's powerful, it's beefy, but it was muddy. It wasn't the directional stuff in it wasn't quite there for me. It was all just muddy, just boom, 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 rather than bullets coming over your head and right around you and all this. I didn't get that the last time I saw it. Now, I don't know why that is, because I watch loads of war films and you do get the bullets whipping around your head and the far off stuff and the close booms and everything else. This to me seemed quite muddy at times. It was just bang. It wasn't high fidelity audio as well that I found. So I'll be curious if you do watch it. I'll be curious to see what you think of it. Whether when you do review it, whether you go, oh, actually, this is quite directional. I was a bit disappointed with it. But there we go.
Whoop, wrong one.
Right, we've done it again.
I meant to stop that. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, actually. I don't know how soon I'll be able to get to it, but I am looking forward to it.
I mean, it's an older film now. It's from 2011.
Yeah. That's an old movie.
Yeah.
That's what we mean when we say old movies.
Speaking of older and graduation, I think I've said this to you guys before. Going around the locker room in my hockey team, me and my buddy, my neighbor, one of my best friends, he plays on the team as well, and he's like a year older than me. And I graduated. John and I graduated in '88, and he graduated in '87. There isn't anybody else on the team that graduated.
Were they even born in 1988?
Most of them, no.
Yeah.
No.
Most of them weren't even born yet.
No, not a single one has graduated in. Some of them were born in that decade. Not decade, I'm sorry, in that century, but not a single one graduated. They've all graduated this century.
Right.
And I'm like, and that's not even close. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, take it with my students. I mean, I teach postgraduate students. So they've already got their degrees. This is postgraduate legal practice. And 95% of them weren't even born when I qualified, let alone, it's just, it really does make you feel old.
Oh,
DJ's the Tom Brady of his hockey team.
No, Tom Brady's good.
Okay.
So I'm the guy that sponsors the team, brings the jerseys, and it's like helps run
oranges.
the team. Yeah, exactly. Like, oh yeah,
oranges and cupcakes.
Yeah, I can't. I used to play defense in this league, and I can't anymore. My hips can't move like that anymore. I can't play defense anymore. I got to play forward. So
hips don't lie, DJ.
No, they don't.
Shakira memorably said.
It's a good league. I'm just happy to be playing with my son. You're gonna have to drag me off the ice. So, but yeah. All right. That'll do it for listener experiences.
Do you want to do your tweak, Deej? Do you want to go back to that before we deal with that?
We'll do that. I'm going to mix it in when we get to our real HT experiences. So,
okay.
You ready to do the coming soon, boys?
Yeah.
We ready? We got an open for that too. Here we go.
Jeez,
there we go. Huh?
that it's quiet here because it's late night. That was like just come right over.
I know.
Jeez, that crept up on me out of nowhere.
His wife is knocking on the floor.
No, it's in the headphones, but it.
That's true.
It starts at the back and goes like that.
Yeah, it sounded okay on my end. It sounds all level here, but
it's all. It's just that
it was a little loud, but it's good.
Yeah. It's the spatial audio in here. It's trying to move the sound, and it's just like, whoa.
A nice stereo sound. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Coming up for March 14th, 2023. And just in case you happen to be watching this podcast in years from now, just let you know. This isn't
2023.
2023. Yeah.
Older movies.
So we have coming up first, we have Streets of Fire from... What's that? 1984.
Older movie.
Yeah, there's an older movie for you. I remember seeing this in the theater as a kid.
Michael Paré?
Yes.
Yeah, Eddie. Yep. Eddie and the Cruisers.
Eddie and the Cruisers. And that's why I went to see it, and I didn't like it as much as Eddie and the Cruisers.
No.
I
don't remember thinking much of this movie. But
no. Yeah.
I haven't seen it since probably '84.
Yeah. It's a Shout Select film that's coming out, so you can see on the box cover there. But yeah, I remember seeing this in the theater, in that one theater cinema we had uptown.
Yeah.
There's still smell the popcorn.
The Franklin one.
The Franklin one. Yeah. Also from it was still older movie. Here we go. From 1998, The Prince of Egypt in 4K. That's coming. Then this is one wow, are we on an Aaron Eckhart binge tonight?
Oh, yeah.
We have The Core coming with Hilary Swank and Delroy Lindo. Just reading the box cover. Also coming on its own. Steve already owns it, but Rocky 3 coming on its own. The standalone.
That's the steelbook.
Steelbook. Yep.
Yeah.
And after you're done listening to Steve today, you'll probably run out and buy it.
Yeah, or you'll never want to hear about it again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and finally, last but not least, Phenomena. Dario Argento's?
Yeah.
From 1985. Never heard of it.
Yeah, I feel like I should have seen that, and I must admit the cover's quite cool.
It looks cool. I don't think I've seen it though.
No, I definitely haven't seen it, but Dario Argento has made some very interesting horror movies, so I'll have to look into that.
So go back through quickly. We have Streets of Fire. We have The Prince of Egypt. We have The Core, which I am looking forward to in 4K. Rocky 3 and Phenomena.
Sorry. Just the way you said it.
That was good.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. All right. We don't even have to do it again like we did in rehearsal. You nailed it.
Actually, Van Gool saying, I need to watch Rocky. I haven't seen it in years in the chat.
Just joined, so.
Yeah. He's just changing out his speaker wire whilst the podcast is on. What's going on, Van Gool?
I know.
What is the meaning of this? It's outrageous.
Such a good movie.
Oh, yeah. I've got thoughts. So, yeah.
I bet you do.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Here we go. Let's go. Very quickly. Hey, anytime anybody wants to donate something huge like this, give to the podcast, you got to bring him on. Here he is, the man.
Oh, hey.
Rockstar.
Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
What's up? You can.
Yeah.
You can? Okay, great.
We're coming live from your cinema. Have you named that place yet?
Absolutely. I already have a sign for it and everything. It's a metal sign, so I can't go back. But it's off of Etsy. Like, you can make anything off of Etsy. Rockstar Cinema.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which,
That's
it's
awesome.
not just me. It's my whole family.
Yeah.
The Rockstar Cinema. So
awesome. George Star was taken.
Yeah.
I looked, it was, and I didn't want two of them out there, so I had to go Rockstar.
I want royalties.
So let's get to this. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate that.
Yeah, sorry about that. I missed
No. I had
email.
literally sent it when I got to the part where I wasn't 100% sure on what you were donating. I had an idea, but it's been a busy day. So here we'll bring it back up again. What exactly do you have? And why don't you give the details there, buddy? Because I really appreciate it. This is an awesome giveaway.
Okay. Well, I know there's a controversy out there if bass traps even work. And if we're talking about low frequency, they're so long and they're so powerful, brick walls don't stop them. But at least the mids, it helps to have some bass traps in the corners where LFEs and even mids can build up and cause problems in the room. And this company, Oralex, has these cubes. They're foam, pretty dense, 12 by 12, and mine's 12 by 12 by 24. And I have two of them. And because I had bought them before my panels were in, I think I might use these. Well, once it was all done, I did not need them. So I have two unwrapped in their box still. They're 12 by 12 by 24 and little, well, not cubes, but whatever, rectangular prisms. that can be put, in the corner somewhere and just be used. It probably maybe work for smaller rooms or stacked on top of other things. But I had them like, what am I going to do with these? And it's so hard to sell things. You sell something on Facebook Marketplace, they want $5 for something that sells for $100. It's a horrible garage sale experience online. So I'm like, what can I do with these and benefit someone? So I'm like, and I think you had a listener a little while back that donated something other than a digital code. Do you remember?
Movies. People have donated movies. I know
it was
people.
It was an item, I thought. I don't know. And that made me think, well, oh my goodness, why don't I just, donate it to Brightside and they can, have some fun with it. So yeah, they're unused. They're the charcoal ones. So they can help out with any room that might need, working on those, any frequencies, right? It's just going to absorb, it's not just going to be for bass. In fact, it's going to absorb, mids and highs better.
I had an idea. What's the density of this foam?
It's a good question because I literally haven't even opened them. I haven't pushed on them. I don't know how squishy they are. I
just had a crazy idea. These are 24 inches tall.
Correct.
What if you took one and you got a nice cut right down the middle and turned it into a triangle, two 24-inch tall triangles, and you could stack them in your back corners or something. And then you see what I'm saying? You'd have a 4 foot tall corner.
Well, you could just stack. I mean,
you could stack
them on top of each other, right? And make a long rectangle.
Yeah, but I was just thinking that. So then that would literally look like a corner bass trap. But I mean, whatever you do with these things, they're. Oh,
I got you. Yeah. So
see what I'm saying?
So it's like an equilateral triangle in the corner pushed in. Sure. Yeah. Right. You could do that.
At 24 inches tall, you could put something on top of these things and make them look like a little display stand too.
Sure. Either put it on top of the table or put something on top of it. Either way, it's going to help any room that needs a little assistance for some acoustic treatments. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And these are, now you have this picture you sent me is all highlighted. So it's a 12 by 12, 24 charcoal. You paid like $100 for these things and you're just going to donate them to us?
2 of them. Yes, I am. Yeah.
2 of them.
What am I going to do? Sell them? That's impossible.
And that's why impossible. I was like,
it's not worth the frustration. I did, but the money's gone. The money's gone already. Right. Right. I won't even notice it gone. I bought them so long ago. But yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, really appreciate it.
Part of the community.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. And that's just a way to, just to show my love for this group and the community and the guys out there. And, we're all part of this special little team.
Where we like charcoal gray foam.
Exactly.
Squishy things.
Things.
Yeah. So. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt the triplet party. So
hey, I love to encourage this kind of interruption, right? I mean, you got to, it's like,
hey, look at this, and you haven't seen. I mean, you haven't seen the room yet. We haven't done videos.
No, we haven't. You got to come on.
We'll have to.
Great.
I love the lights.
An official thing.
Looks like Vader's in there right now. You got the red going, so
yeah. I enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you. As I was reading and describing what you're giving here, I'm like, I got to get a hold of him because what if he has 2 and he's giving away 1? Or I just wanted to be clear. So thank you so much for coming on.
So
jumping on.
Yeah, you're welcome. I guess the best way. Why doesn't? However you want to give these away, right? That's you guys' call. But they can contact you. They give you their address, and you can give that to me. That's probably the best.
Yep. That's what I'll do. That's what I'm going to do. I just said first person to email me for DJ at Brightside Home Theater. And I offered, like you said, they can donate and you're going to ship them anyways. But if they donate and whatever they donate, whatever the shipping cost is, they can donate that to us. And I'm going to put 100% of that to this month's charity as well. Great. So no money coming to us off of this. I mean, this is all you. So thank you very much for the shipping. Thank you very much for the for the
Totally.
bass traps. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, John.
Very cool. All right, guys. You have a good time.
Thanks, John.
Are you going to kick me off of here, or do I need to do something?
I can take care of it
think
right
you
here.
just-
Believe me,
Okay.
I've kicked myself
Yeah,
off.
nice to meet you, John.
Today.
Bye,
Good
Steve.
to meet you.
Thanks,
Bye,
buddy.
John.
Cheers,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Good to
Later.
see you.
Take care.
All the
All
best,
right,
man.
thanks.
All right.
All
I said,
right.
take care, Steve. it's John.
All right,
Not
okay,
Steve
right,
Brock,
then.
it's
I
John
mean,
Brock.
yeah, it wouldn't be normal if we didn't get his name wrong at least once.
Right.
I got it right the whole time.
You did.
I will resume tomorrow, but I got to
Again, though,
step
DJ,
up.
how cool is it? We could just drop people in. That is very
cool.
cool.
I
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
taken a phone call too, but I didn't want to mess. That's through the Roadcaster, and I didn't want to mess with that today.
That's
So
it.
we'll venture down that path another day.
Yeah. Well, we got him in a bit earlier. DG might have never made it back in.
I know. No. Well, I had emailed him right before all that happened, and then he jumped on. He thought regardless, but it's great. I invite him on while
very
I'm
cool.
doing my thing. Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I like a little
Very
impromptu
interactive.
interviews. Yeah, it's nice.
All right. Why don't we talk about that too? Before we get to our last segment, home theater experiences here, the announcement that Todd and I talked about in the podcast. Did you even get to that part yet? So you know what it is, Steve, but you didn't. It's right at the end.
Okay, yeah, no, I've only listened to about an hour, but I
John
do know
doesn't
because we
know
talked
yet.
about it last
No.
week. Yeah.
No idea.
So it's at 3 hours, 4 minutes. 3 hours and 4 minutes. Okay, we'd been going, and he just like, you should do a 24-hour podcast. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And he goes, do you think you could do it? I'm like, absolutely. So we're going to work on it. We've been talking about it since then. And I'm just going to schedule people, and we're going to do it to raise money for something. We don't know what the charity is yet. If my schedule provides, I was actually thinking of doing it on Star Wars Day coming up in May.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a fun day to do it. We'll get people in, maybe have people, I don't know how. I don't know if people can donate to come on and schedule an hour. Maybe listeners can do that. I'll schedule other people. I don't know. We don't know yet, but we're trying to. It's a great idea, and I'll just go 24 hours and just pop people in and out, and we'll talk for 24 hours. Obviously, you don't have to watch for 24 hours, but you guys can pop in. I think I said it. I don't know if I said it off air to him. I was like, Steve and I could go 6-7 hours anyways. We'll just say we're going to do 10 minutes.
First blood.
Yeah. And it's like, John and I, God knows we have. We used to get on the phone and we'd be like, start talking back when we would first started out. We're like, why don't we just record these phone calls? Because then we get on the show and be like, oh, I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So, but now look at us go. So, yeah. So really,
Hell, we
looking
could even
forward
go
to
without you now.
Yeah,
I
that's it.
know.
We'll do 12 hours each.
I know. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. If anybody has any ideas for a charity that would coincide with that, I have an idea, but I'm not really sure. As I said to Todd when he suggested it, I'm like, he's got the mindset for the raising the money and reaching out to the companies and stuff. So he's going to do that. We're going to work around that. And I'm just going to do go. I even have it figured out for bathroom breaks and all that. Now after watching you two, I'll just, guys, jump on with me for a second so I can go take a pee.
Turn your microphone off, Deej. That's all I'm saying. Let's not have a Naked Gun 2 moment.
No, I said that to him too. I don't want to do like you hear in the background the ting.
That's when the time difference can actually work for me.
Yes.
For once.
And I said that. You can come on. I'm like, PK can come on from India. We can, maybe we get Adriano. Come on, buddy, step up. We get Adriano to jump on. I know.
Do for me. Oh, man.
I know. Yeah, it'd be great. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I know I'll just sit here on a live stream for 24 hours talking home theater. Jerry Lewis marathon goes home theater.
You're going to need to wire up some sort of Ghostbusters style electrical thing in your seat so that if we think you're drifting off, we could just sort of press the button and, zap you awake.
Snap you awake.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I'll give you the view. Like, see how I'm sitting like this? I have my back up straight and this and that. Well, when I was on with Todd the other day, I was like this, and I started talking to him, and you hear me. We talk about it in the podcast, and by the end of the podcast, I was like this. So, how's everything going? Like, I'm all slunched down because we went pretty late that night. It was almost midnight by the time we stopped. But yeah.
Fancy still be talking cinema at midnight. However do you do it, DJ? Sorry, what time is it here?
Yeah, but I recorded an HT tours, then I got on with him, and so I know. So, Steve, you'll be able to jump on midday. If you can make it.
Oh, that would be a nice change.
Isn't it? Exactly. So
just when you need to sort of kick up the backside just as you're starting to drift.
Yeah.
I think you're going to need to get the 24 thing in the background. I think you're going to need a clock in the corner and every now and then.
Yeah. Yep. You know it.
The following takes place between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. I can see it now.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be good. I can't wait. When I got off with Todd, I had to eat my dinner and then go to bed. I didn't go to bed till like 1 o'clock. And my poor wife, I'm like, Todd had the greatest idea. And I'm like, I wanted to do it right then and then. She's like, can you just go to sleep? No.
I'm too excited.
Too excited about the prospects. So, all right. Let's get to this week's real home theater experiences. Was that too loud for you, Steve?
No, that was fine. I like that one.
Pretty good, yeah.
The others are cool. It wakes me up. That'll be quite good. You're going to need those for your 24-hour-a-thon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was that?
What do we want to go with first, guys?
I could go first, then I could check out because
don't do that. So why don't you go first, Steve? Pick one, and I'll pull it up.
Okay. Well, why don't we do one that we can both talk about, you and I? So let's start with our number one. Should we do that?
What is our number one? The Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian. Yeah. Should we start with that? Because
sure.
We're going to disagree about this one.
We are.
Yeah,
really?
we are. But with
we'll talk. You didn't see it at all, John, right?
No, I've seen it. No, I watched it.
Oh,
I just watched it on a normal TV with TV speakers.
Right.
But I mean, actually, with a good image, I had a really good picture because it's a great TV.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I saw it again. I saw it in my front room. I didn't see it in the cinema room. I was watching it with someone who just wanted to see it, and I had very little time. This PlayStation VR is really eating into my day. Right. And so I saw it. I thought this episode was boring.
Really?
I agree. I didn't think much of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Now, this is the funny thing. Now, this is why it's so cool to be able to talk to you guys about this. Because now, stepping back a little bit for those, previously on Brightside HT, I didn't enjoy Andor. I didn't like it. And by the end of it, I was absolutely sick to the back teeth of it. And I appreciate I am in the minority with that, but I didn't like it at all. And yet, going now back from the scale and the sweep of that, and there is scale to it, whatever else there might be, going back to then the Mandalorian with two people in a room and the kind of the standard sort of very slow pace of this was quite jarring. And not only was it quite jarring, it was for me rather boring. And I just felt I'm not interested. I'm not really paying attention. And I have to say, within about half an hour, and apologies, I was on my phone. I was looking at my phone while it was going on. I had checked out of the episode. Now that's never happened with an episode of The Mandalorian. Season 1, season 2, really liked it. But this for me was just by the numbers, rote. I've seen this before, and it's not engaging me. And I'm not really that bothered about Mandalore and all the rest of it either, And so I was really struggling with it. And by the end of it, I was just like, I don't care. And which is just, it's not like me. I love Star Wars. And as I said, I love the Mandalorian 1 and 2, and I love the Book of Boba Fett, and I know a lot of people didn't like it. I really liked Obi-Wan. But this just feels same old, been there, seen it. I can't review the home theater side of it because I didn't see it in the cinema room. But looking at your notes, Deej, because I know what you're going to say, then maybe that is what I missed, and that has the thing. But a good episode should be a good episode, kind of, regardless of the delivery system. I hear. Right. Yeah. So there's a blast.
Are you arguing with yourself?
Well, I just
you kind of are.
Yeah. So I was disappointed with this, and I hope this is just a blip. I hope it's just a quiet opening, and it's going to get better. But I was really disappointed with this. Sorry, John, what were you going to say? Because I know what you say.
I felt the same. I just felt like it didn't do a lot of anything. I have faith in the show and the writers, but I do not want a whole season of him just trying to find the waters of Mandalore to redeem himself for taking his helmet off. I want more than that out of this show. And I feel like this episode was definitely a setup episode for the season, which you're bound to have. But I just felt like it didn't do a lot. Like I was a little. I mean, I wasn't on my phone, but I was not really taken with it either. I just felt like it didn't do a lot of anything to advance the story forward in a meaningful way. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
I have faith. I'll say that. I have faith in, Filoni, Favreau. I have faith that they're going to make it appear like we're going to worry about that. Like, oh no, I don't want them just going down. I don't want him just traveling to, there's going to be a tangent here that we didn't see. I have faith in that. I don't think that we know what's to come.
And I hope.
I will say before we all hope, right? I will say before I get to the Dark Side Destroyer part of me, the Katie Sackhoff part, I thought was like, seriously? I was like totally Johning that scene. Like, all right, why is she just sitting there?
I was just saying, she just hangs. I said that to my wife too. I was like, she just hangs out by herself in that dumbest big throne
entrance. Like he just happens to walk in from the pouring rain, which I'd already did the John thing when he gets out of his starship. And like doesn't close the canopy in the pouring rain. Come on, right. The leather. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, so then he walks in. So I had that mindset going. Then he walks in, and she's just like hanging out. She's like, I didn't like that part. But the show itself, I like where it's going. I even like Grogu still. I've heard some backlash on that, like what's he doing there? But the other thing, the one that I want to get to, now the home theater experience of this entire episode, I thought was fantastic. I thought the HDR looked really good. It is the best the Mandalorian has looked. The first season was a little grayed out. I think they're really starting to come around and figure out the volume, if they're even still using the volume here, because that's supposedly that's what happened in the first season. I know they used the volume in the Batman, so that lended to that, kind of. Gradation that they had, which Matt Reeves used perfectly. I love that movie. But the black levels in this, the highlights, everything, great contrast, very dynamic image throughout the episode. And then you get to that space chase scene, and it sounded good. It sounded great, I'll say. But the depth, my son and I were watching it, and I'm like, did you see that? Like the way the ship goes through, and he's looking out, and you could see the difference if you were looking through space through one of the canopies. Like if you were in one of the ships, space looked different because you would have the glare inside the canopy, right? But then when they were outside and you were watching the ship go, you had glare coming off the different asteroids in the area, because in reality, space blackness should just all be the same. There's nothing else there there's no humidity in space to glow. So you shouldn't really get that. But what they were using is like blooming off of stuff. But there was a depth to space that I really, really liked. It was some of the best I've ever seen space look. And I don't know if it's accurate, but I thought it was dynamic enough that when you're watching it, it actually moved your eyes across the screen to where the ship was going, which is what you want. That's, I just thought it was really, really good.
Can I ask you, how many times have you watched the episode?
Twice. Why?
Could it be, if you are noticing the canopy colorations and changes, that you're not really engaged in the story?
No, not at all. It's a space chase. What do I need to pay attention to?
Well, this is what I'm wondering, whether if you're looking at that, you're not paying attention to the chase. Have you not then been taken out of the story, maybe?
No.
Just a question.
No, not at all. No. Now, if it was during one of the other parts, like when he walked in and he's talking to the Smith, and I'm looking in the background for a monolith thing or anything, right? I would agree with you, right? But it's a chase scene. And I was just wondering, I noticed it on the first watch. It's like, what do I need to know in a chase scene? Like, are they going to get him? Is it going to get, there's a lot to behold there, and I'm sure there's more. But you know what I mean? It's like, am I not allowed to like look around the screen during a chase scene? Like, what am I going to miss? His license plate?
But I suppose, but the idea being, you're so dramatically involved in what's going on that to notice details like that might suggest this is Devil's Advocate, another older film.
I know.
Is it? Some might suggest. I mean, I couldn't possibly, but some might suggest that if you're noticing those details, you're not focused on the drama, and is that not a fault with the storytelling?
Well, you're not answering my question. What? Now, I'm not devil's advocate. I'm serious.
Yeah.
During that chase scene, what else am I supposed to pay attention to in the story?
Well, yeah, but I mean, you're talking about then, aren't you? That you're supposed to be looking at will they get away? Will he get away? What will happen to him? What
did I
dramatic
miss it?
tension of the scene? Well, but do you see what I mean? Though, this is what I'm wondering: is the storytelling presumably is predicated on A is chasing B, will B get away, and what are the stakes for B if A gets B? Okay, well, I've made that more complicated than it needs to be. But is that not what you should be focusing on from a storytelling perspective? I don't know. I'm not a storyteller. I'm just, again, I am playing devil's advocate, and I'm just worried.
You're not.
Then perhaps that's not then. It's because it's not engaging the viewer as much as it should do that the viewer is noticing these things.
See, now I will counter that. Allow me to retort.
Oh, Gurinder. Pulp Fiction, yeah.
So allow me to retort. A lot of movies have chase scenes. There's no story in the chase scene, especially when the main character. No. When the main character in the opening episode is in the middle of a chase scene. Is he going to make it? Is he not going to make it? What's going to happen? Well, he's not going to die. So what else can we do to pull the viewer in during this great action sequence? Let's add to the scenery. Let's add to it, pull that viewer in. And then when the chase is over, we resume the story. I mean, you name me another chase scene where it's like you have to totally pay attention to the story during the chase scene.
Fury Road.
What was
the whole
that?
film's a chase.
Okay. Yeah, but Duel.
That's all about will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? What is going to happen? What are the stakes? What is the jeopardy? What is going to happen here? And right. I think if you're watching it and thinking, I couldn't care less what happens at the end of this, then you've checked out of the story, and that's a dramatic flaw.
How do you differ this from the chase scene in Bourne Identity, which is fantastic?
Which one?
Born Identity, the
Yeah,
chase
no,
scene
no,
in the
which
street
chase
in the
scene?
Mini.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Was he in a Mini? Those were Minis.
it's
I
red
think.
Mini,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've sat in that car.
So I've worked on Minis. I've
Yeah.
driven Minis, not like
I've
that.
been in that car from that chase.
car. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how is that chase scene any different from like this, other than it's longer? You knew he was going to get away. It's too early in the movie for him to get for anything else to happen. So and then it's like watching that chase scene. Am I taken out of the movie by the fact that I noticed that the sound is going over me, that I noticed the screeching tires on a certain side of the room? And I mean, I'll end all of this when we decide we're going to end this discussion. I'll end it all with the, low hanging fruit as a retort. But it's I don't you're not taken out of the movie at all, or scene or whatever, or story, by paying attention to the gloriousness to behold.
I mean, this is why I say that, how many times you've seen it, because if you've seen it more than once,
right,
then the second time, then it all bets are off. Second time, you know exactly what's going to happen. With any time you watch a movie, you notice things you didn't see the first time, because now you know where you're going. You're in comfort zone. You know what's happening, and you can then be a bit more aware of other stuff. Be it themes, be it cinematography, be it sound, which is why you listen to stuff over and over, don't you, when you're reviewing it? And how, because you pick up things that you didn't pick up the first time. But so what I'm saying is, if you're noticing certain details first time you see it that are not directly linked to the story or the drama that's unfolding, then is that not potentially then a dramatic flaw with the story? You are out of the story because you're noticing things that perhaps are ancillary to the drama that's unfolding. I'm just wondering. I don't know.
No, see, I don't. I would say, I think you're a little late on this point. I think you should have mentioned it when I talked about the canopy not closing, because that canopy not closing actually does change your perspective, because it's a negative. If somebody sees that, then now they have a negative thought of your piece, right? And now everything coming after that, you have to now rebuild any goodwill that you had. Okay. I think it's the opposite here. In this chase scene, if I happen to notice, oh, wow, did you see how great that looked? That's a positive. That's a rebuild. Now I'm even more engaged, so that when we get back to the story, I'm looking for, and I do this. I mean, you guys both know very well. It's like, I'll get into the nitty gritty of the story too. Like you and I talked about with the Northman, we went back and forth and we looked at different perspectives of things. And I love getting into that stuff. So I understand what you're saying, but I think I think that the one thing you're not accounting for is the ability to multitask in these situations, to come out of the story, enjoy a chase scene, and then go right back into the story. Because to your point, I get it. There wasn't a ton of story here. It's been 3 years since we've seen The Mandalorian. Right. Other than, I mean, we saw him in the Book of Boba, which was really Mandalorian season 2.5. But, and we all found out after the fact that it really was. That's why it's called Book of Boba. But you know what I mean? So I think we can multitask. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad way to tell a story, because, like I said, like I just laid out with the canopy there, it's like there's negatives and stuff that I would try to avoid, because you don't want somebody to pull themselves out with that, but a positive, I mean, it's all positive, right?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying this is bad storytelling. I'm simply floating the possibility of, is there a flaw is not necessarily a bad thing, but is it something that is a flaw in the storytelling if we're noticing that first time? It's a question. Some people might do, some people don't. Some people take it all in as they watch it first time. I don't personally, and I think, from my experience, if I was watching it and thinking, look at how dark that space is, I'm not thinking about, will he get away? What are the stakes? What's going to happen if he gets caught? If he doesn't get caught, what's going to happen? I'm not then as dramatically involved as I would have been had I been more engaged with it. That's what I'm wondering. But who knows?
We'll have to do a live chat while we watch a show or something. I'll show you how to multitask there, buddy. John, do you want to chime in before I give my final
No,
low-hanging fruit?
I'm not in this at all. You guys just go right ahead.
Steve, it's the sights, the sounds, the scenes.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
That's what I'm here for, my friend.
Yeah. Well, it's
Transformers number one.
But it's not. Again, it's not. As I said, it's not put forward as a criticism. It's just a way of exploring it and think. And it's good to then unpack these things and so that it's not just. I'm fascinated by storytelling. I'm always interested in how people tell these things, and it goes back to doing English literature when I was at school and learning about these kinds of things. And I'm fascinated at how they do it, and sometimes it's nice to then look at it and think, actually, could that be a different way? And so that was just, it occurred to me as you were sort of thinking, talking about that. Because if you said I'd watched it 20 times, I'd be like, well, okay, well, of course you'll notice it. Of course you are. But what else are you going to do? Because you now absolutely know what's going to happen. Right. So, but there we go. But yeah, no, it's all fun and games.
But what makes it more fun is like, if I notice stuff like that on the first go round, I'll go back. I'm more apt to go back. Right. Yeah. If I didn't, if nothing really jumped out at me, I might not go back. But now, honestly, with this podcast, with the listeners and the comments and stuff, maybe we missed something and then they go back. Right. And Andrew, up in Canada, he DM'd me right after the episode aired. I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet, but we went back and forth on it a little bit. It's great. I mean, and everybody has a different way of watching things. And I don't mind that question at all. I had a blast with that, Steve. Keep doing that. Keep pushing. Because everybody...
Don't push me. I'm pretty sure that's what Stallone says. Don't push me. Why are you pushing me?
Back to First Blood. Push me. That's how you get the good stuff. No, it's because everybody watches it for different reasons. Some people don't care about the story. They just want the booms, right? And I'm both. I like a good story, but I like the booms.
Steve, John, whatever, Brockstar, I'm not sure, whatever we're calling him at the moment. Now that he's gone, we can call him what we like. Right. But he's just said in chat, he said, Steve, maybe the director's style of this episode was not appealing. See what previous episodes they directed. Yeah, it's not, I'm not, this is the thing. I'm more down on the story, again, which I've got to be because I didn't see it in my home cinema. So I've got to be based only on the story because I didn't see it any other way. And my concern is it's just a bit rote. We've seen it before many times in this series. And by the way, also, it may be that my one of my friends who I talked about this stuff with quite a lot is really getting bored of this series, and he's getting bored of the Star Wars TV shows because he thinks they're very formulaic. And I think The Mandalorian is definitely prone to that. And this first episode walked straight into the trap. For me and for him, and so it may be that I'm talking about that, but I don't think it's a stylistic choice. I think the issue is it is storytelling. It's he goes to a planet, someone says you go there, he goes there, meets someone, and then that's kind of the end, and that's a little bit basic. I say that knowing I couldn't do it myself, so I am being the true critic here. Just literally, throwing. I couldn't do it. All right, if I did it,
as I say,
really
not
crap.
As I do.
Exactly what you said. Yeah. I don't know what I want, but I just don't want that.
Right? No, and that. I mean, hey, you're the customer, right? And if enough people are like, exactly, but but that's the thing, and but if enough people react like you, then that's the majority. Then things happen. Things will change, right? But if a lot of people still like it, then that's the way it goes, and that's why it's great. I think social media, for all its negativity it gets, I think social media has helped a lot of these things because they've, the artists are listening. They're reading all of this stuff, and then they're making changes accordingly. Right. So, I mean, it's a back and forth, and you want to listen to your customers, and the worst that you want to have is crickets, right? If somebody love or hate that's the sweet spot. You want somebody to love it or hate it, because if they hate it, they cared enough that they're upset. So what can we do? And if enough people hate it, we'll turn. What can we do to make you love that again? You know, but if you don't care about it, like most of the population doesn't care about this stuff, ironically. But if you don't care about it, they don't like that. We want you to have a feeling on it one way or the other. So
yeah. But then again, that's storytelling. We want engagement. We don't care how you feel. We just want you to feel.
Well, we were just engaged for a good 15.
Sorry, yeah, we got right off that. Sorry about that.
No, that was good. That was good. All right, what do you got coming up next here, Steve? Why don't you go next? You're gonna do Rocky.
Do you want to do these together? Do you want to do them separately, or what's good for you?
Let's do them all together. We'll start with one because I have an image for each of them. So if you notice on the live stream or on the YouTube now, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got what it's in, everything, all the labels. So Mandalorian, I'll go back to that quick. Streaming 4K HDR. Yeah. And if you notice, streamings will always be in green. Disc will always be in red, and you'll see where blue comes up. But yeah, go ahead.
I wonder.
Yeah. Okay, so as regular viewers of the YouTube show will know, the Rocky box set came out in the UK last week. So a week yesterday. Came out the same day as Training Day, and yet last week I prioritized Training Day and didn't watch these. This week I have watched Rocky 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to go through them and have a little talk about them. Now, before I do that, though, there has been controversy. And I think I've got to be careful here because you've got Dark Side DJ when you're in an annoyed mood, Deej. So I'll be shirty, Steve, rather than the word I was thinking about. And just be ready, fellas, because there might be a bit of this.
Well, actually, I'm really curious because I wanted to ask you about this because I haven't bought them yet.
Yeah,
I am now cautious about buying them. So
yeah, so let's. I mean, now again, these are my opinions only. Other opinions are available, even if they're not right. I'm just kidding. All right, so this is my opinion, and I appreciate it's controversial because I had a discussion with a guy who's a projectionist about this. All right, so the controversy is this. The box set has come out, so you've got Rocky 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 4 is both the Rocky versus Drago director's cut and the theatrical version. That'll become relevant in a minute. Now, there are apparently problems with all 4 discs. In terms of the first Rocky film, the problem is the original theatrical audio is apparently a down-compressed 5.1 mix. There's nothing wrong with the DTS-HD mix, but the original theatrical audio has got problems. The second disc, Rocky 2, is apparently mastered 4% lower than normal. On the DTS Master Audio 5.1 track. Rocky 3 is apparently the foreign language dubs are apparently wrong. Sorry, DJ. Sorry, am I moving ahead to as you're doing that?
That's okay. I should have done 2. I got 2 going.
That's okay. Sorry, and then Rocky 4 apparently. The theatrical version, not the director's cut, which is fine, but the theatrical version, one shot, 7 seconds long, opens to the wrong mat for 7 seconds.
So that happened in theaters, though. That's something
I don't know. So I'm not sure.
There's a scene. There's a scene. I'll go back to the Rocky 1 image.
Yeah,
that happens. That's all they're editing. Don't worry about it. That's all they're editing. I remember this was back in the 80s when he's like, the scene when Apollo's like, I want you. Now he's in the ring. He just come in. He's about to fight Drago, right?
Yeah.
And there's I want you, and they keep going back and forth. And there's one clip where he goes, I want you, and he points with his finger. He's got no gloves on.
Okay.
Like, what the hell is going on? And those,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just an editing thing. And that stuff like that, we used to love because those little things, we're like, I found a mistake, right? Because way back then, that was rare. We couldn't go over it with a fine tooth comb like you can today. Right. So that stuff's happening. I'm wondering if that's just part of what's going on. And now people are going over this stuff with a fine tooth comb. And I now that's not the audio end of it. I don't know what's going on there, but
well, this is where you get to my very particular view, because my response to all of this is, who cares? And here's why.
thank you.
Because firstly, who the hell now? So let's start with the first one. So the original theatrical audio is apparently a botched 5.1 mix. Now, why are you buying a 4K disc of Rocky and watching the original theatrical audio? Why are you not sticking with the DTS mix, which is what I did, and then loving life? Now, someone might say, well, it's the original director's intent. Well, the original director didn't intend for this to be shown in 4K and HDR and all the rest of it. So why do you want the image quality updated, but you want the old sound? I don't get that. So that's not a problem for me, and I don't care.
No.
One. That's Rocky 1. Rocky 2, 4% lower. Okay. Well, we've got volume buttons, peeps.
I got to come up with a new graphic. 4% lower.
4% lower. I mean, that's what the volume button's for. And I have to say, I didn't notice it. All right, well, up next to Neural X, it sounded just as good as 1. We'll come back to that in a minute. 3, I don't know about you, Deej. I mean, I speak fluent Spanish. I speak fairly decent French. I even speak a bit of German. I'm not going to be watching Rocky 3 in any language other than its original language. So who cares?
Right.
And then 7 seconds with Rocky 4, only the theatrical version, which, by the way, I haven't seen the director's cut. I can't wait. But, 7 seconds of a 90-minute film. Who cares?
Right.
So I've been getting a bit annoyed all week. I haven't blown my lid on Twitter. I've been very restrained, I reckon, for me anyway. Normally I don't care about wading into this, as you know. I couldn't care less, because as you're about to discover, Rockies 1, 2, and 3 in 4K are fantastic. So that's me being controversial, right? Who cares? And John, honestly, if you're in agreement with that in terms of how you want to watch them, then buy it. Okay. It might be a good idea to give it a little while, because, of course, if they reissue it, the older ones will be dirt cheap.
Right.
So actually it might be quite. Or, of course, the converse thing is we do what happened to Rockstar, which is that on eBay it's 5 times as much.
Right.
So that's your other worry, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I couldn't care less. How I've watched them has been brilliant. So let's go talk about the home theater experience. So we'll go back to Rocky 1 now, Deej. You're gonna get
don't worry,
strain
I love
injury.
It. I'm having a good time. Keep going. Give me home theater
Rocky
experience.
1.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So Rocky 1. So great film. This movie's a fantastic film. It has never aged. It's still good, and it's a timeless classic. So that's fine. That being said. Now, so I watched it in 4K. It's on 4K disc, Neural X, so upmixed to DTS via for a DTS-HD mix. It is absolutely brilliant. Now, it's an odd thing, because the HDR in this, other than a bit I'm going to talk about in a minute, the HDR in Rocky increases the drabness of the scenes and the locations, which is fascinating, because I always figured HDR and the wider color gamut would actually increase colors and everything else, but in this it adds to the texture and the drabness of it. Philadelphia has never looked less appealing than in this bit. It's actually fascinating. But in
that opening scene in the ring, right? Yeah. It's all you can feel, like you can cut the air with a knife. Yeah. It's like, and you could see that, and it's everything. That's what HDR is about. It's that dynamic range. You can think of good and bad. If you're just mediocre in the middle, that's not a lot of dynamic range, right? But if you have a great image, but you can bring that down and tone everything out and be like, but the difference. So now it gives you a different feel. It gives you that gritty,
it's texture.
It gives character to the story, to the film, to the experience, you know, and that's you don't get that when everything came out looking like that, because we didn't have quality, we didn't have a way to quality rendering at home. I'm trying to say whatever, you know what I mean? Like everything looked like that because VHS was crap. right? But now you know the difference.
Yeah, well, quite. Well, it really does add to this. It looks beautifully drab. I appreciate it's an oxymoron. Okay, but it really does look good. And the scenes where Rocky's on the cobbled streets, he's talking to the loan shark that he's working for, and you can see all the individual cobbles on the street, and that detail leaps off the screen, and it's really three-dimensional ish, as much as it can be from a film from 1976. But it does definitely add something to it. It enhances the film no end. So that was all really good. And of course, most of Rocky is drab. Most of it is deliberately so, and then it's because it's a drama. Rocky's not a sport movie. I don't think. I think Rocky is a drama. I'm talking about dramatic storytelling. Now, however,
no space chase scenes.
No, which is it's a big problem, and I think that going forward, Stallone
really would have enhanced the movie.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So now I've got some timestamps, and by some I mean I've got one.
Nice.
So at 1 hour 30. This is a 2-hour movie. Well, just 1 hour 59. 1 hour 30 is the final training sequence where he goes jogging, and then you get that theme kicking in. Now, there's a beautiful. Now, I've actually A-B'd this, which I don't normally do, but I have done it with this. So there is at 1:30 or thereabouts, Rocky is running down over some waste ground. Mm-hmm. And he comes past a sort of bridge or a raised area, and through that, the sun is coming up. And the sun comes through, and the HDR on that is really striking. That's the rays of sunbeams coming through really is noticeable. The HDR sort of really elevates that. And you, again, I know I've said this before, but you can feel the sun. You can feel the warmth from that sun because of the brilliance of the HDR. It's not eye reactive. It's not crazy, but it is noticeable. It really gives that shot life. So you get that lovely HDR, you get the detail, and then you get that music. And the music, which has sort of choral voices in it, goes right to the back of the room, and you can hear the envelopment of that sound. It's not just across the front; it goes right round to the back. There's a bit of it in the overheads as well, and it really brings this thing to life. Now, I A-B'd it. I watched an HD stream of it. And when you see it in non-HDR, that sunbeam coming through is just drab. It's just nothing. It adds nothing to that shot, at least nothing compared to the HDR of it. So that really leapt out at me, enough for me to go, ooh, what's the timestamp? It's a 1 hour 30. It's the last little training bit before the fight with Apollo. And then after that, when you then get into the ring, the yellows of the ring and the blue of the canvas, again, are really heightened. The wider color gamut really brings it to life. So it's great. And again, it's a cliche already, isn't it, to say it's better than it's ever looked. But this is a dramatic, I believe, improvement over what's come before, both visually and audibly. And so I think it's a marked improvement, and it is well worth picking up. It's not as grainy as that picture suggests. It's on the screen.
No.
So that's Rocky 1. So it starts off really well, the set, and I was immediately impressed. And it's films that I've seen many times. So then we'll go to Rocky 2. All right. So good on. Let's see. Look at that. That's it. Smooth. Mickey's head looks like that's photoshopped in that shot. Doesn't it? It doesn't look right. His head looks massive compared to his body. That does not look right. Okay. So then we get to Rocky 2. Again, 4K Neural X. Same thing. Now, I didn't notice any sound volume issues at all. Same as I'd always listened to it at. It was fine. The dialogue's fine. Surround's fine. It's not quite as dynamic, the audio, as it is with 1. In as much as when you get that theme again, that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, it's not quite as dynamic, but only very slightly. And I think that's stylistic. I don't think that's a problem with the disc. I think because it's not volume. It's not that. But where I really like this again is once you get to that fight at the end, the colors really pop. Anytime they're in the ring, that the last fight just looks amazing, and the wider color gamut really brings that to life. So I was very happy with Rocky 2. Again, I thought it was great, and again a noticeable improvement. So again, John, I appreciate talking to you directly here. It is worth picking up. This is an improvement. So that's that. So in terms then of Rocky 3, so I've got some more timestamps here, Deej, as well for this one.
I
So
like
Rocky-
timestamps.
Yeah, well, quite. I've got a couple here. So Rocky 3 then. So by now then, Rocky has moved on, hasn't it? As a franchise, as you get to Rocky 3, it is now its own beast. It's become something different. Rocky 3 and Rocky 2 are very different in terms of movies. It's my second favorite of the franchise, as I said on Twitter yesterday. And it's still very good indeed. All right, it's great. As cheesy as it is, as perhaps over the top as it is, and that's another Stallone film, but you know what I mean. As perhaps as dramatically OTT as this is, it's still very, very good, and I love this film. And of course, it begins with "Eye of the Tiger." Now, the audio on it then will start.
Oh, you went to 3 already?
Yeah. So,
I miss
oh, sorry, 2.
Oh,
Did I say?
sorry.
Yeah, 2. Now moving on to 3, because 2 is like 1, but just doesn't. It's like 1, but doesn't push it as far. And then we get to 3. So 3 is where, as I say, Rocky's become something else as a franchise. It's become more of a juggernaut by this point, and you can tell by Stallone just how different how he looks in this.
Yeah.
That this is in is a mega star, not just rising star. So with this one then, so it starts off with Eye of the Tiger, which sounds really good. It's nice and wide across the soundstage. It sounds great. And you then get the detail levels. Now, it's very grainy at times because Stallone, who has directed 2, 3, and I think every one since 2, I think. So with 3, you can see him playing with optical transitions. And so whenever you're going to get one of those, it gets very heavily grainy. And to some people, I think it will annoy them. I think some will be a bit upset at the grain levels on these transitions. And there are quite a few of them. So you always know there's a scene transition coming because it gets really grainy and then it transitions. It's grainy for a bit. And then the next shot, it's fine. So that notwithstanding, the grain is an issue for those. But the majority of the film looks fantastic. The detail levels, when you get to the close-ups of Mr. T, obviously Clubber Lang, Rocky, and there are times, of course, when they're in the ring and they're face-to-face with one another, the detail levels on this are exceptional. You can see every little bead of sweat, every pore on their faces, the beard, obviously Mr. T's got his beard. It looks absolutely incredible, like noticeably sharper than it's ever been before. And you also then get the timestamps I've got at 19 minutes. That's the fight with Hulk Hogan, Thunder Lips.
Not quite sure what that was all about. But that suddenly you get the wider color gamut on that because he's got red on his cloak, and you've got the blue of the canvas, and you've got Stallone wearing his kind of his flag shorts and that sort of stuff, and all those colors really pop, and it looks really, really good. And so that's at 19 minutes, and then you get to 45 minutes, which is because of course these ones are shorter. These ones are only an hour and a half. 3 and 4 are only 90 minutes long. And so at 45 minutes, you then get, again, the fight and how it all comes together. It looks absolutely beautiful, really nice, detailed, colorful, HDR is making everything pop. It's very good indeed. And then the audio is great. I always like the audio of the final fight. It sounds, it's ridiculous again. Boxing does not sound like this. No. Every time someone swings a punch, it's like, all this sort of stuff. Yeah.
And there's a nice bit of bass rumble with that. And it all sounds animalistic. It sounds beefy, which is exactly what it's supposed to sound. And that comes across really well in the Neural X. You get that kind of the swooshing of the arms coming around the room. You get the audience all around. You get all that stuff as well. And so, so it's the best of the bunch so far, although I'm expecting very good things from Rocky 4, because the whole thing's a musical anyway, basically, isn't it?
I reviewed
but I
that.
don't know what the director's cut's like, so obviously.
Yeah, I haven't reviewed the director's cut, but I reviewed the Blu-ray of 4, and it's by the time you're done watching that, you want to run through a wall. You're just like, it's so much fun. It's just a music video from beginning to end.
It is. I mean, and it's experimental. You can see Stallone experimenting with it in Rocky 3. There are music video there are musical montages in that. Yeah. And you can see him experimenting with it. So by the time you get to 4, you can see why he did it. But again, John, talking to you directly, and then anybody listening or watching, I'm aware of the issues. I hear them and I accept that those issues exist. I'm not saying they're not, but who cares? It looks, all three look and sound
Right.
excellent. They are a dramatic leap above the Blu-ray or Blu-rays, and I've got the Blu-rays and I've seen them many, many times. These are the definitive versions thus far. Now, I appreciate, if you are a purist and you can get beyond the fact that it's a 4K disc, but you want to watch the original theatrical audio, then that's a problem.
Yeah.
If your volume button is broken on your remote and therefore 4% is a big deal to you, then fair play to you. If you particularly want to watch Rocky in Spanish, it would be La Piedra, one would imagine. That is Rocky, that's Spanish for the rock. Then that's fine. Then you're going to have a problem. I understand. Or if 7 seconds means the world to you, then again, I gather that's an issue with 4. For me, is it hell? These are really good movies, and they've never looked and sounded better. If you can get it for a good price, get it.
Yeah,
that's my advice.
Yeah.
And
that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I know you're a savvy buyer, so I get that. Yeah, so it might be that if they reissued them, these are dirt cheap, but also these might become collector's items, and then they might not release them forever. So and it would be a shame to miss them because we've talked about sport movies before, and these are classic sport movies. At least, I think 3 and 4.
I mean, these are my favorite movies of all time. So
then it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. But wait till you get your projector back, because it's not as good as if you just sit there staring at the box. It's not as cool.
Right.
Not for 36 hours anyway.
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with this set. Deej, have you got them on Kaleidescape? Have you downloaded them? Have you bought them? Or
2 and 3, no. But 2 and 3 are still in HD. But
okay, wow.
I got Rocky back in May, I think. In 4K.
In 4K. Oh wow.
Yeah. Back
do you
in
think
May.
it's the same master?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think it's the same master, or do you think it could be a different one? If you've had it since May, it could have been done again since then, couldn't it?
No. A lot of times they'll get them. You get them a little early. I know May's almost a year.
It's more than a little.
Yeah. But as far as I know, I haven't heard anything that it's now. Where it would be interesting is when 2 and 3 get updated. If Rocky 1 gets an update, then
you'll know it's a new
then
master.
Maybe it would be. But I watched it a while ago, like probably last summer, and I thought when I bought it, and I thought it looked fantastic. I was going to say the silk in the HDR brought out, like, how silk has that shimmer in the shorts and stuff. It really made that pop. That was the one I was waiting for you to get to, but it really made stuff like that pop. But yes, it is. It looks fantastic, and I couldn't agree more. Where it's like the dinginess of 1. I am looking forward to 2 and 3 in HDR. If they don't show up soon enough, I'll probably just end up buying it. But I've had 4 since. I don't know when. That's been a while too.
Again in 4K.
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
No, not the director's cut though. It's the director's package.
Oh, right.
I've had that since the fall.
I haven't seen it. I've been waiting for the disc. I've been waiting. I mean, because I love Rocky 4. I mean, unashamedly love that film. I think I know every line of it backwards. Yeah. And so to see the director's cut, I mean, I've been aware of these scenes. I remember seeing the boardroom scene with the boxing board of control. I'd seen that. I don't know where, but I'd seen it. So to see that all put back in, and there are alternate shots of the fight as well, aren't there? The Drago fight. It's not the same. So I can't wait to see that. I'm really looking forward to it. And unfortunately, again, the PlayStation VR and other and work, damn it, has intruded. Yeah. But I again, don't hesitate, fellas. If that's the way you're going to get it. And naysayers be damned. I think, although I appreciate, there will be people on Twitter, even as I say this, sharpening their knives and saying,
Steve, you're in the right place. That's why we do this. It's about the entirety of it right now. If it was all junk and it took you out of the movie, then that's what we talk about as well. But I mean, these are just so good, right? And the movies are good, and we're just happy to get those. And if you're gonna nitpick, you can nitpick anything. And I think that it's getting to be like people, it's kind of like you want to be the one to break that. Like, oh, I found this is bad. But no, it's not. We talk about the positives here. So nice job, Steve.
We have a dissenting opinion from Brockstar in the chat.
on director's cut. Meh. Memorized down to every line and every cut. So the DC was difficult to watch. It's different. Same ending. Ha. Spoilers. Sorry. Yeah, it would be funny if he lost.
We didn't think he was going to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
First round knockout to Drago, is it?
Yeah.
I get it. It's going to be like a band, playing an old favorite and messing around with it.
Right.
And this is why it's a good job. The box set's got both. It's got the theatrical and the director's cut. So if the director's cut's rubbish, I don't think it will be. But if it is, then who cares? I've got the theatrical version and it's in 4K and away you go. So, and they didn't have to do that. I can imagine a lot of companies would have thought, "Ooh, let's make them pay twice."
Double dip, yeah.
So I think it's cool, but I appreciate that, Brock. So you may well be right, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it nonetheless, just as an interesting curiosity, if nothing else.
Is it? Is it not to correct John, but I'm not. I'm just trying to think for myself here. I'm not even sure if is it called the director's cut or just special?
It's Rocky versus Drago,
right?
Like Rocky.
Yeah,
4
because it was
isn't it?
him. It was Stallone wanted to. It's not the director, although I don't think
he
not
directed
the
it. Yeah. He
direct
directed them all since 2. Yeah, he's done them all since 2.
Then it is director's cut. I wasn't sure, but I knew he wanted to go back because I remember when they announced it. It was like the announcement on this came like the same week I was talking about 4 or something stupid. I was like, oh, great, perfect. But
these are Stallone's babies. I mean,
yes, absolutely.
There's been a lot of talk, isn't there, about? I mean, you're not going to see him in another one, and so he regards these as his children. And is protective of this character more than Rambo, more than John Spartan. So he's very, very protective of Rocky, and that's rightly so. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to skip over one of my second one that I had there, and we'll save that for next week because that has a tweak with it that we will save for next week. So, but we'll go to my next number one. So Air Force One. So Harrison Ford, after doing Clear and Present Danger last week, I figured, hey, why not? Let's do Air Force One from 1997, 4K on Kaleidescape with Dolby Atmos. Great action movie. Great, so much fun. Popcorn movie. Leave your brain at the door. I can't tease it out any longer or anything. The story is horrible. It is brutal. All right. I absolutely love this movie. I've owned it in every iteration. I have it on Laserdisc. I have it on DVD. I have it on Blu-ray. Now I have it on Kaleidescape. I am much like you just did with 1, 2, and 3. All right. This is a home theater experience. It is a lot of fun. We'll get to the picture. We'll get to some of the stuff, but I have to get this out of the way. Outside of Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman, it's the acting is laughable. It is awful. Like when they go back and anybody play Glenn Close, who I love, she's great, but I remember seeing this in the theater and going, she's wrong. That's not how a vice president should. You would be like, she'd be like, well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. No, you're running a country here. It's like,
shoot it down.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, sorry, gotta go. No, we're not negotiating. Sorry. But that's writing. But even just the acting, all the people around her, she wasn't so bad, but everybody around her, like, it was just, it's just bad. And I think the 4K really pulls that out because now you're just like, it's just, and then the story itself, like, now another one that I'm going to talk about in a minute is another, and I didn't even do this on purpose, but it's another presidential kidnapping type movie. And I'm like, is it amazing that they keep making all of these movies about, has the president ever been kidnapped? Or he gets assassinated. I get that. but it's a one and done. You're in and out. It's not like
it happens every time in the trilogy that you are going to be talking about.
I know. Like,
Aaron Eckhart again. Aaron Eckhart one more time, of course.
Yeah.
In which one?
Olympus Has Fallen.
No,
London Has Fallen.
No,
Aaron Eckhart is the
Fallen.
No, Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah,
is coming up.
Yeah, that's the third. That's Morgan Freeman.
Oh, yeah,
isn't it?
Morgan
But that's
Freeman.
3 times that the president gets kidnapped.
Yeah. That's what I mean. They keep making these movies. Air Force One, and then you get the what was the one where Steven Seagal was at the very beginning of it?
Oh, Executive Decision.
Yeah.
Great film. Kurt Russell, John Leguizamo.
Yeah, it's another one, is it? That's Air Force One, isn't it? Was that Air Force One that they were in?
They take a plane hostage, don't they? It's
I thought that was Air Force One as well. But regardless, but anyways, let's get to the fun stuff. The picture in this is really, really good. Like inside the plane, the bright colors, and this came out a while ago in 4K. This is another older film. So here's another older film. There you go. So in the great black level, what was I going to say? And the sound. It has never sounded this good. I don't remember it sounding this good on Laserdisc. My system wasn't as good then either. It's just a lot of fun. But the story, I got to be honest, is really brutal. At 15 minutes, I got a few timestamps here. The plane goes from front to rear down right side at 15 minutes. Off camera, it's outside of Air Force One, so you're in the plane, and you just hear a plane go by outside, which was really cool. At 21 minutes, 30 seconds, a firefight taking the plane has got some great gunfire and fun action. That's what's in my notes right here. I don't really remember that scene off the top of my head. I'm kind of getting flighty right here. 58 minutes firing at Air Force One. Nice base and the action. This is another one where the story kind of gets in the way of the story. Because early on in the movie, they tell you all about how fantastic Air Force One is. And like Harrison Ford uses, this is the scene where he's like, if you were to fire on this plane, and then Glenn Close, is he telling us to shoot at the plane? Oh my God. And he's like saying, it has all of these it'll avoid any fire that comes at it. We are the safest place you can be. Then later in the movie, what do we do? They're going to fire at us. What? You just used that scene earlier in the movie. So, all right. Again, great home theater experience. And then the fuel explosion at 1 hour, 24 minutes and 20 seconds. It was big rumbles in the room. Really, really nice. It just kind of rolls out really good. And then the grand finale. Oop, what was that? What happened here? You guys with me? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Still here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a tough day.
Let's just start talking, John. He'll think he's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't hear you at all, DJ.
Yeah, I know. Oh, no. We might have opened a can of worms there. The grand finale was a lot of fun. I mean, it's great action, everything. But then the final crash, I don't know if you guys have seen this in a while.
It's just cartoonish, isn't it? Yeah.
No, my God. It's like
we ran out of money.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
King.
I'm like, they were like, oh no, we got to do something. It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
It's laughable. It's so bad. And it kind of makes you be like, all right, let's watch this movie. And then when you get to the end, have a good laugh. All right. Cause it's the plane skipping across the water and what's his name right in the doorway. And oh my God. But it's like so bad CGI. It's like it's really like they got to the end of the movie and we're like, oh, we thought the movie was going to be 20 minutes shorter. We're out of money. What do we do? So
it's I know this film very well because this was one of the Sony Superbit titles back in the day.
Yep. And I had it in that too. Good call.
Quite. No, I've seen it loads of times. And it used to be one of my demo discs, kind of, because I've got a few others as well, not timestamps, but scenes to watch out for. Because I think right from the very beginning, it's quite nice because you get the parachutes coming down when they break in and arrest this guy. But there's a lovely thing where when they come down, and I've got the 4K disc, and you've got they go into night vision. This again is what you talk about, a stupid story, right? You've got sort of Navy SEALs or whoever it's supposed to be who land and just basically just barrel in through various doors. They just run in and grab him and run out. There's no tactical awareness here. It's basically just a group of guys just go tearing in. They just grab him and run out, and then the whole thing blows up. But there's some nice surround usage, because as they're running along the corridor, as ridiculous as it sounds, you can hear then the voices of the soldiers going, again, this will tell you how many times I've seen it. They're talking in Russian and they're going, Bashli, 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 Bashli. And that echoes around the room really nicely. And I always used to like that in the old days on DVD. And then to watch it in Atmos, when that then goes up into the height channels as well, it opens it out. It feels like this big, palace, which is where they're supposed to be. So that I really liked. And also, when you're then on Air Force One, you talked about the initial firefight when they first take control of the plane. There's a nice little pan where one of them gets a smoke grenade or a smoke bomb, whatever you want to call it, pulls the pin and rolls it along the floor. And you can hear the hissing of the gas as it comes along the floor and goes past your listening position. It sort of goes right past, which is quite a nice little subtle thing as well. But yeah, the gunfire is great. You got these big, the guns again sound bigger than they are. Even again, how ludicrous it would be to fire automatic weapons on a pressurized plane. You basically, in real life, you just kill everybody because the plane just depressurizes, and that's the end of it. So, but there it is. But I like it, as ludicrous as it is. It's really good fun. And can we just take a moment to celebrate Harrison Ford, because whilst he's fun in this, he is absolutely exceptional in Shrinking, and I just thought it's a good time to mention it. He should get all the Emmys for that. I absolutely love his performance in that. And I was saying to someone earlier today, I want to see a spin-off of just him, no one else. Just he could just sit and talk. I'd watch that in a heartbeat.
That's probably what got me to watching this. Right. Being like, or getting on a Harrison Ford kick here, because it's watching him there at that age. And then you go back to these, and these are just like, what are you doing here? When you see him act like he is in Shrinking, and what a great actor he is. And then you see him and Gary Oldman in this thing, like what the heck?
Well, if we're getting 4K movies of Harrison Ford, can we have Witness, please? And then can we? And I'd quite like What Lies Beneath as well. His only bad guy role. Spoiler alert. I'd quite like to see that as well. But Witness would be fantastic in 4K. I'd absolutely love that. That music would be just that's so good.
That's like 88, right? Was that 88?
In the 80s for sure. It's a Peter Weir film, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that would be lovely. The music on that, when they're doing the barn building on that, the music would be just beautiful. And it's such a good film. And again, talk about acting in that. I mean, he's great in that with Kelly McGillis. Top Gun link.
There you go.
So he's very good. But I like this film for as cheesy as it is. You can't like Under Siege and not like this.
Oh, exactly.
Because it is Die Hard honor, isn't it? This is exactly what the pitches were throughout the 90s. It was, what is your film? It's Die Hard in a lift. It's Die Hard in space. It's Die Hard on Air Force One. It's Die Hard on a ship. It's Die Hard on a train. It's Die Hard on a cruise liner. And Die Hard on a bus. So those were your pitches, weren't they? And this was one of those. But it's fun for what it is. And you've got to love the line, "Get off my plane." As stupid as it is, you've got to love it.
I know from Harrison Ford giving you the 80s lines, the one-liner, from Harrison Ford, right? I did think, you mentioned the Atmos. I didn't think there was a ton of overhead usage other than exactly what you said. I felt like it expanded the soundstage. Like it was very good at giving you the ambient feeling of being in the plane. You heard, like, especially during the quieter scenes, you could hear it felt really nice, like a really good job. And, Atmos isn't just, raindrops on your rooftop. It's more than that. It's the ambience. It's everything. And I thought it did well like that, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is a great Atmos. But I did think it was really good.
There is the other bit where they fire on Air Force One. Again, spoiler alert, where they fire the missiles from far away, and the missiles come along, and then they go up and into the sky. They arc upwards, and that's quite nice. That goes over the thing. That used to be a
there's
demo
some great
sequence.
pans.
So that was quite nice as well. Yeah, it's worth picking up. How much was the Kaleidescape version, Deej?
I think like $14, something like that.
I mean, for that, bearing in mind that to buy the 4K disc, surely that's about what, $10, $15 now, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it really would be worth picking up. Again, if you like the movie, it's well worth it. Because it's been out, as you say, it's been out on disc for a long time now, so it's got to be reasonably cheap. But I wouldn't recommend that.
Yep, absolutely. John, do you want to go here?
Sure.
Sitting quietly.
Yeah, sorry, John. Where's us prattling on? I'm sorry.
I don't have anything. Like I said, I don't have it. I only added this just so I had something, because I can't really talk about the home theater experience here. But we went to see Creed 3 on Sunday, and it's exactly what you expect it to be. It's a Rocky movie through and through. Without Rocky this time. And my only gripe, no spoilers, but my only real gripe is they don't address his being gone at all. There's no mention at all of why he is no longer around. Other than that, there is a significant time jump that happens for this movie, because this is, again, from Rocky 2 to Rocky 3. Adonis now has been champ for years, and so there is a time jump that happens. And I think, Rocky was old at the end of the last one. So we all are just to assume he's passed on, I guess. But this is a little bit derivative of a lot of the Rocky. There's a lot of pieces of a lot of different Rocky movies that are pulled together here. But all that being said, I really, really liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Jonathan Majors is a star. If you didn't love him after Ant-Man, this guy is great. And he was great in this movie. Michael B. Jordan directed this. I think it was his debut directing, and it looks great. There's nothing. I have nothing bad to say about it. The only drawback at all is it is a Rocky. Nothing is in doubt here. Right. You have no question about how this is going to end, who's going to win, nothing is a question. But it was a lot of fun. I liked it more than Creed 2. I don't know if I liked it more than the first one. But this was, it's great. And as far as what I expect the home theater experience to be, a lot like you mentioned when you were talking about Rocky 3, I just expect a lot of thundering punches, body punches, and bass, and all of that to take place during these fight scenes. But if you're a fan of Rocky at all, you've got to see it. It's a must-see movie, and it was a lot of fun. So, what
did you think of the picture and stuff? Because from what I understand, it's Michael B. Jordan's talking. He's done a lot of press on the fact that he used IMAX cameras and stuff to film this, and it's the first time a sports movie like this has been.
Right now, I didn't see it in IMAX, but it looked fantastic. Like I said, I feel like I didn't see this in the big good theater that I usually go to, because it just wasn't playing.
Was there a projector down too?
No, but it wasn't playing when I needed it to be playing. This was something.
Come on when he's down, Deej.
Yeah. We were going to see this on Sunday after breakfast, so it had to be playing around noon. And we didn't even go to the Cinemark. We just went to the theater by my store, and saw it there. So it wasn't the best cinematic experience as far as that goes, but I can extrapolate out from what I saw and what I heard, kind of what it's going to be like at home, and I think it's going to be great. Like I said, Michael B. Jordan, he's a director. This was good. He's not only an actor, a good-looking actor, but he's a director too. So it's what else? Is he going to cut a record next week? And the rich get richer. But
I'm looking forward to seeing this one at home. I think I know I'm looking forward to seeing this one at home. I don't know if I'll have time to get to the theater and see it.
Right.
But definitely a must own. I don't think it's even up for pre-sale yet on Kaleidescape, but when it is, I'll be buying it.
Yeah, I don't know about Kaleidescape, but I haven't seen anything yet.
The pre-order links have gone up on Amazon today. I saw on Twitter earlier, so it's not going to be long before we've got a date. I can't wait. Once I'm done with Rocky 4, I'm going to watch Rocky 5 on Blu-ray because that's what it's on. Rocky Balboa, same again. But then I've got Creed 1 and 2 in 4K, so I'll do those. And if there's still time, if Creed 3 hasn't gone by then I think I will drag myself to go see this. But I'm looking forward to it. It does look good. I'm glad he's not Clubber Lang's son, is he?
No, it's right. It's not. Yeah, he's not tied to that franchise at all as far as Jonathan news. Majors goes. I mean, if you've seen the previews, you know who he is already. The trailers tell you who he is. And yeah, it's like I said, really good.
I think the reason there's no mention of Rocky in this is because they were hoping right up to the last minute that he would do a cameo, be it either on a post-credit sting or or drop him in. I think all the way through this there was a hope. Look, we'll get him in somewhere. He'll be all right. He'll come to his senses. He'll want to be in this.
I was going to say, was he the holdout? Because I thought he was down to do anything and they didn't want him.
Yeah,
but no, maybe I heard that wrong.
It's the producer. He's had a massive falling out with the producer, with Irvin Winkler, something like that. Yeah. Henry Winkler. Oh God, Henry Winkler. I don't know. He's had with whoever the producer was. He's had a massive falling out.
Martindale.
Oh, okay.
I can't the producer owns the rights to it. He sold the rights to Rocky.
I know that he's beefing with all of that
big time. And he's essentially said, as long as this producer's involved, I'm not doing it, and I won't do it. He said, I'd work with Michael B. Jordan tomorrow, and he said in an interview, I'll do Creed 4 with Michael B. Jordan, but not if this guy's involved.
Okay.
So we're not going to see him again because he owns the rights.
Right.
But I think there was some hope that they might find a solution somewhere along the line, and that's why there's no mention, because you can't kill him off because he might want him for 4.
Exactly.
You can't. So you just kind of just hope everyone
he just wasn't in the picture this time around.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, but I think that's probably it. But who knows? But yeah, Van Gool, by the way, just on the thing, just he's saying Creed 2 is good in 4K. I've seen it in 4K, but I've only watched it once in 4K, and then I've seen it recently-ish on Netflix while I was in London. So I'm looking forward to watching it again, properly in 4K. But I'll do that at the end of my little Rocky kick. And then it's Rambo time. So yes, I can't wait to get.
I don't own either of the Creeds yet in 4K, and now I'm kind of holding out for a box set with all 3 of them.
Yeah, there's only one problem with that, John. You'll find the first one will have the original theatrical audio. The second one will be 4% lower volume. 4% lower. The third one, you can forget the Spanish language.
There'll be 7 seconds of some other Matt in it,
some other film.
Right?
Yeah,
they'll drop 7 seconds of Rocky in.
There you go.
Have either of you heard this? What Van Gool saying about a TV show? Sylvester Stallone's doing a Rocky TV show.
No, I haven't. Because actually, like I said, I heard the same as what Steve is saying, that he has a major beef with them because he wants them to give him the rights back. Which it's pretty unreasonable to expect them to just give the rights back to him.
Yeah, but I think he wants it for his kids. I think he's saying he wants to leave something to his children, doesn't he?
Because he has nothing to leave them.
It's odd, isn't it, when rich people fight?
Yeah,
you're just like, well, really? Who am I rooting for here? It's not actually Rocky.
Yeah, right.
So but I hadn't heard of a TV show. I must admit, I'd heard.
No,
he's done
last I heard
shows,
was that there was something that they were trying to spin off Dolph Lundgren into like a Drago show, maybe with the son who was in Creed 2 or something. I'm not sure, but that's the last I heard. And like he was super upset about that, and he was actually mad at Dolph Lundgren for not letting him know about it. So
yes, that's right. Yeah, he's becoming a grouchy old man,
which
is a bit of a shame because
he's sly.
If rumors are to be believed, he's not the nicest of people. But not to meet. If you meet him on the wrong day, shall we say, he's someone who you're not going to want to go and speak to if you can avoid it. You certainly wouldn't want to walk up to him on the street and say hello without knowing he was wanting to talk to you first. There are legions of stories, including from people that have met him that I know, which is a shame because I think he seems like an all right guy, but I think it depends on the day.
Yep.
He's not the dark side destroyer.
All right. You want
How
me?
long do we do on Rocky? Creed 3. That's
Creed 3.
About an hour.
Yeah, I know, huh? You want me? I'll do this, and you can wrap up with your final one, Steve. So,
you've got 2. You've still got 2.
I'm gonna
do your one, and I'll do one, then you do your last one, or
No, I'm not going to. Carnival Row was not. I mean, that's just a touch on,
Okay.
great, looks great, sounds great, same as, and we're kind of going long here. So
Okay.
we can talk about that next week if anything changes, especially. But all right. So this is where for my tweak of the week as well, one of them was going to be the Kaleidescape update. So just to give you guys an idea, so how this worked, and I'll pull this up. This is what it looks like on my side. So once you upload a movie, which I can't tell you how, I can't express how simple it is. It's ridiculous. So I happen to have a Blu-ray player. Let me pull up the name of it that I used for my Zapiti. All right. So it's an Asus. I don't know the exact name of it, the model number, but it's an Asus Blu-ray 4K player that you can, rip movies from to store on your hard drive. So it wasn't one of the ones that Kaleidescape listed as being able to do this, but they only listed 4, but their point was that these are the 4 that they know for sure will work. I used mine. Nelson used the one that he has, same thing. He got the update like 3 or 4 days before me. I didn't get mine until later, much later in the week. And then all you do, it's literally, you plug that player right, you plug it in. It has to be a self-powered Blu-ray player, right? You plug it in. And then you take the USB connection that you would use. It's a high-speed connection that you would use to connect it to your computer. You plug it directly into the back of your Strato player, of your Kaleidescape player, not the hard drive. Once you do that, the front of it just starts blinking like, okay, it knows it's connected. You open up the player, you hit, your little button on your Blu-ray player, it pops open, you put the disc in, it goes in. 20 seconds later, the disc comes back out. It's done. You're done. On to the next disc. And it just and then you come over here and I would look up like it'll start. It takes like 5 minutes for it to show up here on my list, and you go to digital offers. And I don't know if you could see this on the screen there, but like Fifth Element, Steve, one of your favorites.
I'm being trolled. I was about to say, Deej, can I just cover that little bit?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm getting post-traumatic stress here, Deej.
Yeah. Fifth Element, 4K Atmos for $4.92. Apollo 13 just in at 4K HDR, but no DTS-X, but that's $4.92. But then the accountant, these are I just grabbed off my shelf closest by, all of these, but like, look at Terminator, it's $24.99. It's still, I still have to pay $21.12. There's a small discount. So it varies. This is the one I sent to John. I was cracking up. $14.99 for Terminator 3, $3.14. to get it. Now, these list under my system as I have them now. And now if I want to buy them, it only costs me $3.14. That's it. So for that one, and you can see some of the other ones. For if you say you were going to do a season, and that's why I wanted to put this in. I just put in a single disc from the season. I own Sarah Chronicles. Just put in a single disc. Boom, the whole season shows up. And it costs, I'm only saving like $2. Goes from $19.99 to $17.27 and $29.99 to $24.99 on season 2. So Alita Battle Angels, $2, stuff like that. But First Man, this is a pretty good one for $4.92. So pretty cool. And super, like I said, I timed it a few times on a few of these, 20 seconds. And then you're on to the next one. You're like, oh, you don't have time to step away. So pretty cool. So that brings me to my next movie that I watched that I bought for $4.92. It was Angel.
Because you had the disc. Because you already got the disc. Okay.
Yes.
What's the discount you're getting on Bloodshot? Surely they should be paying you with the number of versions.
Can you
of that
put it in 3 times?
Well, I tried to buy Bloodshot again, but that's the beauty. This is where Kaleidescape is saving me money. I can't. They won't let me. Now, if they ever come out with an 8K version, I'll buy it then. If they come out, and then it'll be an upgrade, and then there'll be a slight charge for that. But
you don't need to, because all you do is just put your 2 4Ks together. and that'll be your 8K.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
done.
Yeah, exactly.
What have you bought it 6
4K
times?
projectors.
So you've got 24K.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, Angel Has Fallen. Gerard Butler, Morgan Freeman, $4.93. This is another one that, leave your brain at the door. But I like the story on this better than I liked Air Force One. It's just fun. I like Gerard Butler in this. Steve, did you like this one? You had mentioned it last week. I can't remember what you said though.
Olympus Has Fallen is really good.
Yeah.
London Has Fallen is dreadful and outright racist in every way.
Olympus? Really?
No. London Has Fallen, the second one.
Oh, London.
So
Sorry. Yeah.
Olympus Has Fallen is fantastic. It's a really good film. And talk about Die Hard in the White House.
Right.
And I prefer that to White House Down. I think Olympus Has Fallen is the better of the White House siege movies. So I like that. London Has Fallen is dreadful and outright racist in every way. There's not even an attempt to hide it. It's dreadful. And this one, I think, now I've seen it, but I watched it on Amazon Prime and I watched it in the gym. When I was doing a workout, I had it on there with my headphones in, so I can't speak to the home theater thing. But I quite enjoyed it. My only problem was the twist is not a twist. The bad guy is the obvious bad guy from second one.
Oh, you knew it right away. First time I saw it.
So that was a bit like, yeah. So I am curious to hear what you think about the home cinema, because if it's that good, then I probably would get the 4K disc because it's dirt cheap. It's probably about £5 here, I think, if that.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious to see what you think of this.
I wanted to add boxes of popcorn to the stream because I gave this one some boxes of popcorn. So I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed the picture. So I'll talk about the picture for a little bit. I never really noticed it before, but it's got like almost like a blue hue to everything, like the entire film. But it like accentuates some of the blues, but then it also is pulling out some of the warmer colors when they're sunlight, or there's something in the opening scene. So Gerard Butler is, if you remember the opening scene, he's looking out the window at people attacking him, quotation fingers, right? And the sunlight on his face is so bright, but the detail, you can see his like pupils are almost closed. It's just looking at the detail on his face and how like around his eye, it's a very, very distinct shadow. Like the sunlight is just beaming right on this part of his face. And he's trying to peek through this opening to see out there. And it's just like, you got to see his eye. It looks so good. And that's very early. It's like literally the opening scene. Helicopters in the opening. I gave it 2 boxes of popcorn, the opening scene, because even the logo from, I can't remember what the studio was and stuff, but it almost looked like 3D. It was like spacey looking, like black and with all this.
Lionsgate, isn't it? I think they make all of these.
Yeah, but there was it wasn't there was something else that came before that, I think, in the open. You know what I mean? Like there'll be a different.
Yeah, production logo.
Yeah, something like that. So that was pretty cool. But the gunfight that they have, again, quotation fingers on the gunfight that they have in the opening scene, lots of nice punch to the gunfight. Again, the HDR looks so good. It really got you going right away. And then as you started going on and you're watching it, it's like their suits, the details in their suits. I thought the 4K was really, really good. I wouldn't call it reference level. I wouldn't call it like the best, but I thought it added to the movie. I swear, this is the one that I mentioned earlier, that I swear that I reviewed this a while ago for the podcast, because I feel like some of the scenes I got to, I was like, I know I've sat down and talked about this before, but it with my newer stuff now, my upgrades, it just really has enhanced everything, especially some of these base scenes and stuff in all of these movies. I'm getting a better response out of my mid-range and stuff. So, but at 20 minutes, the drones, so you know what I'm talking about, that scene there. Oh my God. 2 boxes. I gave that 2 boxes of popcorn. You know how the drones hit and strike and you have the explosions. The HDR and the explosions was like almost like 3D. It was really, especially against the bright yellows and reds against the green of the forest and everything that's going on. They pan the water and you can almost see like a green, like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like the green like scum across the top of the water that sometimes you'll see in the summertime, like algae on the water. You could see that. That looked really nice. But then, like I said, those explosions, they were such brights, but the dark underneath the like the smoke and whatever where it was exploding from. But audio wise, the deep bass, not, and I don't want to go too far. It's not like super deep and you're like, oh my God, I felt everything in my chest. And so it wasn't like that, but it did have really nice, just like the way things exploded across your screen. It just a lot of good location, even though it's bass, you could locate where it was happening. And then of course, I don't want to bury the lead, the drones going all overhead, all of that going on. I mean, there's a lot to take in at that scene at 20 minutes, tons. That's why I gave it 2 boxes of popcorn. 1 hour and 1 minute, I called it the Nick Nolte tunnels. So he just starts, this is a hysterical scene. Like if you own this movie already, just throw in this scene just for fun. I think it's a fun demo scene too, because you get the explosions going off, and I have a reference to another movie where it's very close. I'll talk to it in a second, but the explosions are really nice, very deep, very impactful. Again, not reference level where you feel everything, but it's very distinct and impactful around the room. The drums in the score also very impactful around the room. But then you like juxtaposition this with the humor of Gerard Butler and Nick Nolte just being aggravated with each other. And it's like Gerard Butler's running around and he's like, "What, Dad, what are you doing?" But then it's like boom, 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 and like people are flying and everything's going on. It's just a lot of fun, right? But your room is going boom, and these explosions go off. And I think it was the final one that Nick Nolte does. He sets off the explosion, and it goes from the right side of your room and just goes boom, 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 boom. And it reminded me of that scene in Enemy Behind Enemy Lines when he's running. And the trip wires, and they all start going off and they go right down the room. This was this way, except it went across the front, and it just went right across the front stage. Really, really a lot of fun. And like I said, the humor is great. An hour, 25 minutes and 30 seconds, the gunfight in the streets, real punch to each gunshot, lots of different sounding guns. You could really tell, like the bigger guns from the littler guns, the bullets ricocheting around, building exploding towards the end, really good. Just a lot of good, fun stuff. And then at 1 hour, 41 minutes even, there's a rooftop shootout, and you can hear the echoes of the gunshots. So they're at that in a city, like I guess it's Washington, and there you just bang, and then off in the distance way away from your room, you'd hear that echo go, and then it happens on the other side, and that one's a lot of fun. I love the echoes, as I've mentioned before. So lots of fun. So I if you can get it for cheap, definitely. I mean, I think it's better than Air Force One as a story, and it's a great home theater experience, in my opinion.
It's £11 on Amazon here. I was looking while you were talking. I had a little look. So yeah, I might pick that up in the next couple of days. Just to forewarn listeners or viewers or both, there is, I'm aware, in Europe a 4K set of all three of these. So Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. You can buy them all in 4K in a box set. But apparently, from the reviews I've read, they are not good. They are almost bootleg transfers. So they are. So be warned and beware, peeps. If you're suddenly thinking, I want to get this, I'll get them all. Oh yeah, nice.
These are my coasters. These, I have them all sitting right here. My drinks on them on my desk. I have Star Wars. Return of the Jedi. That's that one.
Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah, Revenge. No, that's Return. This is my main one. This is A New Hope, and you see DVD. It's a DVD.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And look how nice they look. They have the image on them and everything. So I bought this set online back in like 2001, and they're just somebody ripped them from the Laserdisc.
Yeah.
That's all they were, because they didn't exist. There was no DVD copy at the time.
No,
so I bought, they're bootleg. I didn't know they were. I just was like, all right. And then I felt guilty. I actually looked into at the time, like, did I just do something illegal? I don't know what, but I guess and that's when I found out it's not illegal to actually buy it. It's just illegal to do what they
copy
did.
it and sell it. Yeah. But these are, so watch out anyone, and they're available on Amazon and various other things, but they're not, so they are apparently, third party kind of versions. But they're not good. So don't, on the back of saying how good this is, get the original separate releases of this. The other two are not available in 4K anywhere yet. So as I understand it. So do not buy the box set. Apparently they're not good. So and the reason I know is because I thought about it a little while ago and I looked into it. So watch out.
All right.
Buyer beware.
All right. You ready to get to your last one here?
Yep. Yes, indeed. All right. Okay. So, so this is Formula One Drive to Survive on Netflix. So this is now season 5. I cannot believe we've got season 5 so quickly. Came out a couple of weeks or so ago. I've only got to episode 1 and 2. But now this is something we talked about ages ago, DJ. One of the Takeover Tuesdays, we talked about Drive to Survive. And it's about the Formula One. Obviously, I mean, in the States, it's not well known, is it? But Formula One, it's the motor racing. And this series has developed its own cult following. I mean, it has just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And it's about the season before. So this one will be the 2021, 2022 season of kind of, and it's all of the trials and tribulations behind the scenes of the various teams. Now, we talked earlier about how boring it is to see rich people fight. And this is a series about behind the scenes of Formula One with various multi-millionaire 20-somethings all, having a pop at each other and calling each other all sorts of names. And yet it's oddly fascinating and it is well worth seeing. Now, that's the story. But what should drag you into this and what got me into it when they did season 1 was it's shot mostly in 4K and in Atmos as well. So when you get your clips of the races and the various exotic locales around the world where these things take place, the image quality at times is beautiful, like a David Attenborough documentary at times in terms of how good this looks. Now, it's not universally that way. Some of them are clearly up-resed shots from drones or whatever, and those are noticeably lower quality. But there are some shots and some sequences in this that look fantastic. The colors of the vehicles, the detail on every little sort of sponsor logo, the sparks coming off the underside of the vehicles as they're hitting the tarmac, all that stuff, and you've got that, and and it is like looking through a window most of the time. But you then get the Atmos audio as well. So when the cars come across, they come down the track at the camera, they go over the camera, they go either side, and you get this ferocious, thud and thunder and the screaming of the engines. It's a bit like Super Speedway, of course, which I know is the name you always forget. And it's like that, but you get it in Atmos. So, and you get this kind of this beautiful kind. And again, you talk about echoes. So the car will go past, you'll get the thunder of the engine, and then you'll get the echo as the car disappears into the background. It's really good. Now, these are in fits and starts, so it's not like it's the whole race per thing. So you get, talking to camera interviews, you get all the behind the scenes stuff as well. But when you do get the race stuff, it's home cinema heaven. And this is why I started watching it. I put it on season 1 and thought, oh, Formula One, this looks interesting. But I'd say it said 4K and Atmos. I'm thinking, right, well, I'll give it a go. And I was hooked. And I'm not a big motor racing fan. I wouldn't watch a race. No time for that. But watching these episodes, they're 50 minutes long, it is home cinema heaven. Plus you get all the backbiting and the nastiness, which is quite good fun because they're all just children really. Even the older team principals who should know better are all just kids. And as you watch the seasons go, it really does, go with warts and all. They don't. This documentary series, they don't care at all. So you've got the drivers taking the Mickey out of Netflix and calling Netflix is all "See you next Tuesdays," and on camera, and they just leave it all in, and it's great. Yeah, nice. So well worth it, and it's a really good home theater experience, and it's fun as well. So yeah, I recommend this all day long. Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, a few seasons ago, I had people recommending it, and I caught a little bit of it, like just to catch some of the scenes. And you're right, and that's where it came up with, like, Super Speedway. That's where we were talking about it. I just haven't gotten into it. I just, there's a lot of stuff to watch it, but I know it is one of those things that's like, I like my room to go boom, and this is supposedly fantastic for that. So
I mean, you can dip in and out of this. You could just sit down for 20 minutes and just pick any episode and just give that a watch for a home theater experience. That would be enough. And just and then see how you get on. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this.
Cool. All right. Excellent. Nice way to wrap up the show. Wow. Wasn't expecting to go this long, boys, but you guys bailed us out big time. Thank you very much. That's what a week. What an episode. What an everything.
It's been a week for technical glitches.
It has.
Yeah, I know. So thank you very much. Appreciate you. What curses? So, Steve, I'm assuming you're not working early tomorrow morning?
No, I'm all good. No, it's the other half's birthday tomorrow, so I'm off tomorrow. So it's all good. All good.
Nice. All right. Good for you. So you got a nice 3-hour podcast you can listen to on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get dragged around home furnishings places. Don't ask. Never mind.
It's a birthday.
All right. That's it. You've got to do what you're told when it's someone else's birthday.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it for this week. Thank you, everybody, for everything. Thanks for sticking with us during the stream. Thanks for keeping us updated on how everything sounds or doesn't sound, as my voice went. Thank you, Steve and John, for bailing me out when I had no voice, apparently. So, great week. Had a blast. Can't wait for next week. Next week's Takeover Tuesday is something pretty special. First time ever, I go on location.
Nice.
For an audio podcast I recorded from Nelson's Theater down in Connecticut. I went out to his place last week, sat down with him, had a great tour of his theater. John, we're going to have to talk. He's got a Star Wars shelf that's...
Oh, yeah? All right.
Yeah. And but this is an audio only. I got a little video that will come out on Friday, as the same day as this, but will come out on Friday as a promo for it. But yeah, next Tuesday's Takeover Tuesday is me sitting down in Nelson's Theater, having a great conversation, and I was just like looking around while I'm talking to him. So it's a lot of fun. So that's a good one. But yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks for watching. Please rate, review, subscribe, especially on YouTube. Really appreciate that. Hit the like button. What is it? Mash the like button, John?
Mash that like button.
Yeah. And until next time, what do they got to do?
Go push play.
What he said.
And we're out of here. Hey, Fred. This has been a Hey Fred production with theme music by Jeff Bernhardt and Throne Vault Productions.